Last time on Square Roots, we almost lose our heads in Helgen, claw our way through Riverwood, and hobnob with the Jarl in Whiterun. Later, we meet a dragon and suck its soul so hard that we get a new nickname, just like high school.
Hey everyone. Hey everyone, and welcome to Square Roots, the classic RPG podcast. My name is Jim Banks. I'm joined by John Fusrado Brandon.
Fusrado?
Isn't that the shout? Fusroda. That's what it is.
Fusrado. That just sounds like an off-brand SUV from a weird company you've never heard of.
I was going to say it sounds like a Star Wars character.
It does. Also joined by Vanessa.
I'm Vanessa.
Matthew is feeling a little bit under the weather this week,
Oh, he's
so it's just
a little sick, buddy.
Just gonna be a trio.
Oh, do a little sport. Should we go by with some soup and a little blanket for Matt?
You know, we can take his temperature.
Oh, does he have a little sick tum-tum?
I got a little sour tummy.
Oh, little buddy. Oh, do you have the sniffles?
Yeah, I also have ideas for how to take care of a sick person, but I don't want to share them here.
Why?
Because I don't actually have any ideas, Jim. I'm not a caring person. I don't know what to do.
Oh, I thought they were going to be like, escort them to some kind of death chamber. Like
That's
Vanessa.
ridiculous.
No.
I would never go close enough to a sick person to escort them anywhere.
Well, I don't think I've said it yet. What do we do here? I'm gonna let one of you guys say it this week. What do you guys think? What do you guys think that we do here?
What do we think that we do?
I'll let Vanessa handle this one.
Once a week, I talk to my friends about...
Coworkers.
Okay. Once a week, I talk to my coworkers about a video game that we have all played in the week prior to our conversation.
Right.
We record this conversation.
Uh-huh.
And it goes internet.
Yep.
Then people hear it off their phone.
Or whatever device.
Or whatever device they choose to use.
You think
that's what we do here.
Do you think people ever listen on their smartwatches?
Can you?
Probably. I think you can.
You can. Yeah. I have a smartwatch that will play a podcast, but it's super annoying, and nobody should ever do that. Never take a call. Never take a call on your watch. Never have any of your personal electronics make any noise ever.
Does it go through like a Bluetooth thing into your ear pod?
I think it could.
It can, yeah. That's usually how it works. But like, why would you ever want to play something from your watch to like your earbuds? I mean, you just do it from your phone, like
because you'd be like in Star Trek. You'd be like, "I'll be on my way." You know, like you put your wrist up to your mouth.
You're like, watch, play podcast.
I want our listeners to send us a video of them speaking into their watch, saying, "Siri, play Square Roots."
Ooh, do you think that we now have all their devices in their house going, "Sorry, I didn't hear that. Sorry, I didn't hear that."
Does it have a little speaker, the smartwatch?
It does.
So you could just have like your wrist talking
just blaring.
to you.
Just
blaring.
Watch.
You can.
Listen to Square Roots podcast at maximum volume. And then just be on the bus next to Jim, and Jim's like,
I do make sure, though, that my phone is basically always muted and it does not make any noises when I do any kind of application. Because I agree, electronics ought to be silent unless you need the audio cues to help you operate them.
Yeah, I need Okay, there's a couple of things. First of all, clicky keyboards help me type. I need that haptic feedback.
Oh, interesting.
Oh.
Also, I have to. My phone's a work phone, and I won't hear it unless it rings. So I need to have that ringer on.
Yeah, because you're a doctor.
I'm not. It's not like I'm saving lives, but I do have people calling me to tell me to do things sometimes. So
Sometimes it happens during the recording of this show. You've been
That's
like,
what email is for. Why can't they just email you?
because it's an emergency.
Is it?
they're just old school that way. They want to talk on the phone.
Yuck.
Also, yeah. So we play a game like a book club. We play it and talk about it a chunk at a time.
Do you mean that we play a game in the manner that a book club would play a game? Because I don't think they play games. I think they read books.
They do play games with my heart.
Aww.
We play games in a manner similar to a book club member would read a book if they were doing that.
Happy National Video Game Day.
Ooh.
Is it National Video Game Day?
It sure is.
September 12th.
Yep.
I don't know if that's
It's an easy date to remember.
I guess so.
It's called Escapism Day.
Yep. It's called We Were All Home from Work, so we played video games on September 12th.
I went into class, but then they canceled class. It was very weird. Well, no, they canceled class on September 11th. This was college and film school. And then I did get Bell's palsy the next day, I guess from stress. But half my face, I woke up on September 12th, 2001, and half my face couldn't move. And that was very weird.
That's horrible.
That is weird.
Yeah, that's my September 11th story.
Never forget.
Yep. Also, I just moved to the U.S. like 2 weeks before, and
welcome to America.
I was next to an Air Force base, so there were fighter jet squadrons flying overhead, and that was messed up.
Oh Lord.
Yeah. But other people had a way worse time than me and my stupid frozen face, so I can't really complain. I got over it. My face works fine.
Good to know.
Looks great.
Thank
Looks great.
you.
Works
See,
fine.
look, both sides.
Oh yeah. Oh, look at it go. Wow, listeners, you are missing out on some top-notch face work here. It's like having Catherine Hahn on the show.
If only America would have bounced back as good as your face. John.
Oh, jeez. But America does know how to clap back. And speaking of clapping back, Jim, why don't we talk about how you leveled up?
What a segue. I watched a show, watched it as recently as 25 minutes ago before I logged on to record this podcast. I watched a show, a couple episodes of a documentary series on Amazon Prime called Lula Rich. And it is the documentary about the multi-level marketing company called LuLaRoe that sold leggings to women and ended up being very predatory for most of the people involved in the company.
I am very interested in this. I watched a 20-minute Vice documentary about it a while ago that's pretty good, but I am ready for the deep dive.
It is very good. I'm only 2 episodes in, and the next episode is when they really start getting into how terrible the company was to its salespeople. So I'm excited to learn more about that. When I lived, I still live in the suburbs, I guess, but when I lived in like I used to live on a cul-de-sac and a little housing division, and LuLaRoe was such a pervasive thing among people. You would go to the school vendor nights or open houses, and women would have their LuLaRoe pop-ups there in the school, selling people leggings, and it was everywhere. They would do pop-ups at in front of the Dairy Queen and stuff like that. It was crazy. It was everywhere. And I hadn't really thought about it in a long time, and then the documentary came out, and it was just as pyramid schemy as it sounded. And I feel bad for the people, like I have friends who invested in that, and I'm sure it was not great for them. So
Nope.
it's a real bummer, but very interesting.
I had this weird feeling of inadequacy a few months back. I don't remember when. I was like reading something about MLMs, and I'm like, nobody ever asks me to join their MLM. Like, that's just, it doesn't happen. And I see these comments on the internet. They're like, oh, all the time I'm getting these DMs from people about joining my MLM. I'm like, why aren't people, preying on me to join their MLM? But they don't. I'm like, am I not good enough to sell your dumb leggings? Come on. Hit me up to join your MLM so I can reject you.
I mean, I understand wanting to be. I want to be invited just so I can say no.
Mm-hmm. Right?
That's what I want to do.
That's
like
the
I
dream.
would love to be able to tell someone like, this is a pyramid scheme. You should like get out of this right now.
Yeah, and then they'll be like, "Screw you," and walk away.
Yeah, I'd be like, no, I'm a business owner.
I'm a businessman. It really is like, I don't know. I understand the desire to be part of a community, and I think that that's a big part of what these companies put together, because you get to go to the big conventions, and like as someone who has had a job where you go to conventions, and I know that you have too, Jim, it doesn't seem like a good, fun thing to do, right? It's like an irritating thing to have to do. But I understand that, like, if that's not a part of your life and you know it kind of exists and you aren't involved in it, it might seem like something missing, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, I've worked in sales before, not anything like that, but I understand when you get kind of like not addicted, but like you start to like get used to the pressure of having to perform, and then when you do, there's just like that big dopamine release of getting a sale. And I think that's, and like they always market it under, like, I hate the word entrepreneur or entrepreneurship, because those kinds of companies have just ruined it. Like, but they sell people on, that entrepreneurial ideal that a lot of people have of, being your own boss and it's your business, and people just kind of fall for that kind of thing, hook, line, and sinker. Like, especially for people who feel like they don't have a lot of, economic mobility.
Yeah.
Finding a thing that you can control that will let you kind of steer your ship. Like, I understand the allure of that, but these people just got suckered.
Yeah, definitely. I think you can only be the sort of sucker or the sucky in those situations. It's like you're either exploiting other people or you're being exploited. And neither is good.
And companies like that kind of incentivize taking advantage of other people.
Yeah, absolutely.
Once you get suckered, the only way to unsucker yourself is to sucker more people. And that's kind of how that whole thing works. So it's just it's a bummer thing to see people get into. And it's a very interesting documentary. I would suggest that everybody check it out. I'm excited to watch more of it.
I'm excited to watch it now, too. Thank you for the recommendation.
Yeah. You're welcome.
You see, before the show, listeners, we were talking about how if one of us recommends something, the other three, like, will intentionally not watch it. Like, just, we get very obstinate. And we're like, we're not going to watch that. We don't want to listen to it. We don't like it. But sometimes something breaks through. And this LuLaRoe documentary, this could be a breakthrough IP for me.
I think we all have little connection points among each other where it says, like, Vanessa, you and I are both very into documentaries, so I feel like we usually will latch onto the documentaries that each other watch. Like, there was the Lollapalooza, the Woodstock 99 one, and there have been a few documentary series and podcasts that we've kind of traded back and forth. John and I, it's more like horror games and certain movies. Matt and Vanessa like the comic book stuff. Vanessa and John have a ton of stuff in common. So we all have our little points, but by and large, it's usually like there's no way I would watch that musical or,
Yeah.
or listen to this band that Matt just recommended. No way.
Yeah, the other night I spent my evening watching the greatest performances of the Tony Awards from like several decades. And I was like, this is not something that any of them would be interested in, but maybe John.
Wait, so how do we get into that?
That was your level up. And now you have it.
Okay. We got so far. Vanessa, how did you level up?
This is a Vanessa Johnny crossover. I watched a movie called Cruella.
Oh, that's fun.
And I liked it a lot.
Wait, didn't I recommend that you watch that?
You might have. Yeah, it was really fun. It's on Disney Plus for free now. So if you have Disney Plus, you can watch it without paying that premium. It was darker than I thought it would be.
Pretty dark.
Yeah, it's
at
pretty
times.
dark. It's but I thought it was really cool. The costumes were great. It's sort of like a fantastical Devil Wears Prada, I would say, is like the closest thing. And I didn't mind that it was a retelling. I don't mind that kind of thing. I like.
Is it a retelling? It's a retelling of what?
Of 101 Dalmatians.
Oh, I thought this was like all before that.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it is. But I mean, it's like it definitely takes the characters in a different direction.
Oh, it looks like a female Joker.
Yeah, it's the female Joker.
It kind of is.
Yeah, to a certain extent.
It's like, don't tell mom your babysitter's dead meets Joker.
Okay. Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead is one of my favorite movies. So now I think you might have just sold me on Cruella.
Nice. No, you should watch it with Jalen. I think that she might think it's fun too. And Emma Stone is really good in it.
Isn't Paul Walter Hauser in that movie?
Yeah, Jamie, the guy who
the guy who
Jamie
kept getting
Tacos.
his line stolen by Jamie Taco.
Exactly. He was in the Oscar-winning film about figure skating.
He was in
I, Tonya.
Yeah, he was in I, Tonya. He played the dim-witted guy that I think clubbed
Oh,
the
that's
figure
right.
skater, right?
Yeah.
And
No, he didn't do the actual clubbing. He arranged it.
Okay. That's right. He's the guy who thought he was like a spy or whatever.
Yes.
I haven't seen it, but he also played Richard Jewell in Clint Eastwood's Richard Jewell film.
Oh, yeah.
Who's Richard Jewell?
He's the guy that they kind of made it seem like planted the bomb in was it around the Olympics or something?
Yeah, it was the 94
Oh,
Olympics.
But like
yeah.
he was actually the guy that just found it. He was like a security guard.
Wait, so but I thought didn't he get arrested and everything?
He did, yeah.
He was vilified mainly in the media.
Oh, okay.
And that's kind of what the movie is about. But it's a Clint Eastwood film, so it's kind of like it has like a fake news flavor to it that I'm just not on board with.
Oh,
Yeah, that makes
okay.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I do think there was a failure in that instance to sort of correct the story.
There was, and I think the media was right to point the finger at them, but that movie was kind of controversial because I think they wrote in like a journalist sleeping with somebody for a story or something.
Ew.
And it's kind of like needlessly salacious in that way.
Yeah, that's not
okay.
necessary.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So,
Cruella.
kind of stuff. Yeah, sorry.
Cruella, I thought it was really fun. And if you don't take it that seriously, it doesn't take itself seriously either. And Mark Strong is in it, which I feel like will appeal to Jim.
I love Mark Strong.
I knew you would.
Love Mark Strong.
Who was he in the movie?
He's like the butler.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I'll watch that guy be a villain in anything.
Did you
He's
see
not-
that movie where he just like slaps Tom Hardy a whole bunch? Is it Tom Hardy who he slaps?
I don't know what movie you're talking about.
There's some movie where he's like slapping Uncle Alfie or something is his name, and he slaps people.
Was it
all
like
day long.
a London crime movie? The one
It
where he was those
was.
twins?
I don't know. I only really remember Mark Strong slapping people around. And his name was Mr. Slap.
I thought he was the best part of Shazam because he actually seemed like a threat. Like he really wanted to kill everybody in the movie. And everyone else was kind of like, la-di-da, we're in a funny superhero movie. And he's like, no, he had all the most violent scenes in the movie. He's a good actor.
Yeah, he's fun. I feel like maybe if he had kept his hair, he would have had a different career. But I'm happy with the career he has.
Me too.
Johnny.
Yeah.
How did you level up?
Well, let's see. There's a few things. I had a really fun night yesterday. As I was editing, I was recommending music videos for Jim to show his tween daughter to really give her a sense of what the 1990s were like or early 2000s.
Yeah, we went through a whole litany of 90s videos, but I will say that that Bjork video was my favorite recommendation.
It's so. Did she like it?
A good video. Yeah, she did. She didn't we both didn't understand what was going on,
well,
but
I mean,
enjoyed watching.
She had it. Okay, first of all, her tank was breaking down because the stinky man was in the engine compartment. And then she had a toothache, so she went to the gorilla dentist who removed that growing diamond. He did try to take it, but she fought him for it.
Yeah.
And
she
won.
Jumped right on that gorilla's back. Yeah.
And she grabbed the growing diamond and then fed it to her tank in its teeth-filled engine compartment.
Yeah.
And then she went to drop a bomb off at the museum to bring her boyfriend back to life.
Yeah, and I will say that I think a lot of the budget for that video went into that gorilla suit because it is one of the more lifelike gorilla suits.
It's a pretty good gorilla suit.
It is a good gorilla suit.
He looks very shocked when he sees that diamond in her mouth and extracts it.
Yeah.
I love that is one of my favorite directors of all time. His name is Michel Gondry. He's done a few films, but he's mostly done music videos. Like he did the video for Let Forever Be? It's Let Forever Be with Chemical Brothers, which is one of the best videos. And Chibo Mato's Sugar Water. Like just really mind-bending videos. He did I Am Je Danse La Mia was an early one that I loved as a teenager.
He directed Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind.
Oh yeah, and that has
Jim Carrey film.
That has some of his tricks because he likes physical VFX that look like computer VFX, like that he tries to do as many in-camera tricks as possible. There's that scene where all the titles start moving off the book covers in the bookstore when the memory's collapsing in Eternal Sunshine, and yeah, that's definitely one of his. I love that movie. I haven't seen that movie in forever.
Yeah, me either.
I watched it when I was going through a breakup, and it kind of wrecked me for like a month. So I should give it a shot now that I'm in a much better place because I thought it was great. And yeah, Michel Gondry, an amazing director. He has there's a DVD collection of all his music videos. I think he did the Bachelorette one as well, which is a lot of fun.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So other than recommending, I was trying to find a list of, because in the 90s, there's so many music videos that are taking place in like a CG dome, and usually it's like covered in speakers. I was trying to think, because I know there's a Missy Elliott one. I think is it Mo Money, Mo Problems that has that? And like O-Town kind of has that. And there's an New Kids on the Block video that's like that, and at least two NSYNC videos that are like that.
I remember the NSYNC ones.
I feel like there's a Jennifer Lopez one too. Oh, and what did she think of Virtual Insanity?
She's like, so like he's just in this room the whole time. I was like, yeah, but like the floor's moving and stuff is going in and out, and she's like, huh. She's like, but like he doesn't ever leave the room, and I was like, no, and she's like, okay.
He doesn't understand. It was mind-blowing.
It was. I was like, everybody could not shut up about this video when it came out, and she's just like, he doesn't like go anywhere. I know he's just in this room.
Kids these days, CGI has ruined things for them forever.
Well, but she appreciated a gorilla dentist, so there was no.
That's just such a fun video to watch.
Yeah,
and it doesn't make any sense, but it's fun to watch.
And the song is great too. I think
that's a good song.
One of Bjork's best. That and Bachelorette are both, I think, Bjork's best songs. Human Behavior is very good too, and Venus is a Boy. I like Bjork, is what I'm trying to say. So I started a new project at work. Speaking of work projects, I don't know if you're aware of this, but my name was in the credits of a film called Harry and Meghan Escaping the Palace. And Vanessa proved it by taking a photograph of my name. Vanessa, did you have a chance to actually watch the film, or is it just your mom?
I want you to know that I'm a supportive friend who cares about the projects that you work on, which is why I have not deleted Harry and Meghan Escape the Palace from my DVR. So if I were so inclined, I could watch it.
What did Vanessa's mom think of it?
She actually, I had accused her privately, just to you, of watching the whole thing without me. Turns out she just watched the beginning of it without me.
Oh.
But I think it's because she intended to watch the rest of it with me later.
Now, oh, go ahead.
I secretly think she might have watched the whole thing, you know.
I would like to read an excerpt of the review from The Independent of this film.
I would love to hear it.
A 5-star review.
Oh.
And please note, I am not being paid by my work. This has nothing to do with me or my work. I'm just reading
you are paid by your work, but not for
yes,
this.
I am being paid by my work. This is not a sponsored message by the production company or my work. I'm just reading a review, which has nothing to do with my own opinions. And it says, Harry and Meghan Escaping the Palace. Terrible movies like this are an art form. This spectacular fiasco is drinking game catnip with a script seemingly written by an automatic text generator. So 5 stars. The Independent heartily recommends it. So, of course, I have nothing to say on it one way or the other as someone who merely worked on the film. But take that as you will.
I do feel that, because I believe this is the third in sort of a trilogy of Lifetime movies about Harry and Meghan's love story. Is that correct?
Yes.
So I haven't seen the first two, so I don't know if I can just dive right into the third one.
I think you'll be okay. It doesn't start with the previously on, though, and it probably should have. Previously on.
Previously
Harry
on.
and Meghan.
The real life of these real people that we have fictionalized for our television network.
I strongly recommend the film, is what I'm saying. Wait, no, I don't. I have the neutral opinions on the film, as I do not want to get in trouble with anyone.
John is 100% objective.
Yes, exactly. And not paid for by anyone.
I know, John, that you did your absolute best level of work on this film.
I did. I worked real hard.
And I'm sure that
I'm very proud of
everyone who
myself.
worked on this film worked very hard as well.
Yeah, I think so. That's what making movies is like.
Except for that automatic
Whoa,
text generator of a screenwriter.
Jim Vank's views are not my own. Otherwise, I have pledged, and other than for games that I'm purchasing to play for the podcast, I am not going to buy another video game until next year.
Wow.
Wow.
Now, did
There's
you
nothing
take
really
a-
coming out in the fall anyway.
I know. I think there's
Yeah.
like one game that I'm excited for this fall. Like Gran Turismo
Well-
7's not coming out, so
I guess there's the anniversary edition of Skyrim that's coming out, and also the re-release of Alan Wake that's coming out.
yeah. Both of those are Game Pass, though, right? Oh, maybe not Alan Wake because that's no longer.
Alan Wake, I think, might be PlayStation exclusive for a minute, or maybe it's just being on the PlayStation for the first time.
Which is weird
Maybe
because
that's what it is.
Microsoft, like what happened when that game started was Microsoft paid for it, but then Remedy bought the rights back from Microsoft, and that's why they can own it and do things on PlayStation and stuff now.
Oh, that's interesting. I read today, and this is an unconfirmed rumor on the gaming internets, but they're saying that the next Elder Scrolls might be an Xbox exclusive. So
Yeah, I've
Vanessa,
heard that kind of thing, too.
Yeah. You better see if you can get on one of those Xboxes.
I will. How about that?
Yeah.
Good.
Surely by the time.
I wasn't challenging you. I was giving you a helpful friend suggestion.
So the last part of my level up before we move on to the adventure journal or whatever, I want to talk about how I've been complaining about how Gran Turismo 6 has looked ever since I bought it, because like on the original tracks, it looked really contrasty and awful. Like everything was overexposed. And I was like, well, is this like a stylistic choice? Are they trying to do this fake HDR? Cause it looks like garbage. Why does no one ever talk about how terrible this game looks half the time? And today, 8 years later, I realized there's a display setting called exposure. And because my old TV was so dark, I cranked it up all the way without testing how it looked. And I'd been, even though this is my third PlayStation since I bought the game, I did not notice that it's kept those settings the whole time. So now, like on my nice bright TV, it looks really terrible until I looked at my display settings and realized, oh no, I've been playing it wrong for 8 years, Jim.
Wow.
Wow.
Well, I applaud you for being man enough to admit it.
Mm-hmm. Well, this is another episode of John's Apology Corner.
Yeah, who do you want to direct this apology to?
Okay, there's two apologies. First, to Polyphony Digital. I want to apologize for claiming that their HDR lighting was broken, because turns out that it was just me messing with the brightness settings and that had broken that. And I also like to apologize to Jim Banks for interrupting, saying that I like that interrupting him telling me why he likes the Skyrim music, so that I could make another joke that it's because he was heterosexual. So Jim,
Thank you, John. I appreciate that apology.
why do you like the Skyrim music?
It's just different, and it's like a way to punctuate what's happening without like without having to have like a big fanfare. It's like the level up sounds and stuff like that. It's not. I don't know. Would you call that music? Just the grunting?
Yeah.
I don't know that Okay.
Yeah,
I guess it's
like
music.
it's like chanting.
I think the grunting is a fun way to know that I leveled up when there's a chorus of men grunting in the background.
Because they're speaking in Dova, right? So all the words they're saying are the dragon language.
Uh-huh.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Which we'll
I
find
thought it was
out.
just like unintelligible grunting. It sounds like
More.
a chorus of Tim Allen's doing a Tim Allen grunt.
Oh, Tim Allen grunts. How we love thee.
Before we move on, I have an amendment to my level up.
Oh.
The film where Mark Strong slaps everybody is called Rock and Rolla. And it does not have Tom Hardy in it. It has Gerard Butler in it.
Is that another Guy Ritchie film?
It is a Guy Ritchie film. But I've never seen it. I think I've only ever seen like Snatch.
Oh, Snatch is so good though.
Snatch is a good movie.
One thing I've noticed, he always has big beefcake bear guys, including in Rock and Rolla. There's like a leather daddy bad guy who's like this big Czech bear or something. And that's my Rock and Rolla story.
Well, guys, you ready to get into the quest log?
Yes.
Yeah. Let's do it.
But before we do that,
Whoa.
good level up, guys.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thanks. Hey, good
welcome.
level up to you, too.
Hey, thanks.
We all included
Very
each
level
other
up.
in our level ups. Did you notice that?
We did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Levels up, everyone.
I don't know how Matt leveled up. What do you think he did?
Think.
Uh,
He made that post on Facebook.
Yeah.
What else did he do this week?
Wasn't he like watching something over the weekend that he was telling us
Oh,
about?
he was watching the Teen Titans
Yeah,
show.
the new
Oh,
season 3.
yeah, he was watching Titans. Yeah.
Yeah, and he thought it was okay.
Which is not the popular opinion. I
No,
don't think.
he was really going against the grain with that one.
Oh.
Yeah.
And I think he said that the dark tone of it he thought worked for him.
I think he said it's okay, but at this point, it's just something you have to accept. Which is true, I guess.
I guess, but I don't know if I'm ready to take that defeatist attitude towards
That
my
doesn't mean you
TV
have to
watching.
consistently like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just remove yourself from any expectations and just do it.
Okay.
So I've got a question for you, because you can sort of complete the Horn of Jurgen Windcaller after you do Blade of the Dark and Diplomatic Immunity. Did any of you complete that quest?
Yes.
Okay, I did too. I just want to make sure that we all are on the
I
same
did
page.
it right before Diplomatic Immunity.
Same here. Yeah,
I think I did it right. I think I did it before Blade in the Dark.
you can do it in the middle of Blade in the Dark, I think. Right?
Oh, okay.
yeah,
I don't
yeah.
remember how. We'll have to talk through that.
Yeah.
But like, let's talk about climbing those 7,000 steps.
Yeah.
Well, first you have to go to Inverstead. Oh, I forgot to do. There's I think one of my favorite quests in the game. I haven't done it this playthrough. It's in Inverstead. That's this town in sort of the southeast of Skyrim. It's south of Riften or west of Riften. West of Riften.
I think it's west. Yeah.
Yeah. So you make your way. It's sort of, which is what I like about this is it is a long way around the mountains. Although the game kind of doesn't think about how. There's a problem here because in A Blade in the Dark, it references a thieves' hideout that you have to pass through. But unless you took a carriage through Riften, you've already had to pass through this area and already cleared out the bandits. So it sort of sequence breaks the game a little bit.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's totally worth it in these opening hours of the game to just walk around and get as many landmarks on your map as you can.
Yeah.
Because it cuts down on your travel time
Yeah.
so much throughout the game where you can fast travel to some place that's like a 2-minute walk from this undiscovered location that was never on your map before. And it's super duper convenient.
I did find there's a quest about ghosts in Inverstead.
Yeah.
Oh, that quest. Did you do that this playthrough? I haven't done it yet.
I did some of it.
Yeah.
So
We'll talk about next time, maybe.
All right.
'cause That's one of my favorite quests in the game. I seem to remember it being pretty
It's a good
fun.
one.
Yeah. So you get to this kind
I
of small.
had trouble getting to this little town. I'm
Ooh.
not gonna lie. I think I was supposed to go the long way round, but I got frustrated trying to do that. I got all turned around. So then I was like, screw it. I'm going back through Helgen. You know, like the town where they were going to kill us.
You-
The starting town.
You'd have to cross over the mountains to do that.
No, you can go south and just go straight back to Helgen because Helgen's right by the river. The first town you go to.
Yeah.
What is it called?
Riverwood, yeah.
Riverstead?
Yeah. Yeah.
Riverwood, yeah.
Yeah,
So
but
I went-
isn't Helgen on the west side of the mountain range and Iverstead on the east side?
That is correct, yes.
And so you have to like do some. The game's not really pushing you to do that kind of mountain climbing, but tell us about your quest, Vanessa.
Well, in going through Helgen, when I got there, the gate was all locked up. And I was
Oh.
like, who the heck is going to lock the gate to this old burned out town? So I opened it up, and who should be in there but a bunch of bandits? They just moved right in. So I did do them a kill, and then I went on my way. But it was a harrowing journey, and as you could tell from the way I told it, lives hung in the balance, and it was very dramatic.
Does Fusro Da or just Fus have combat ability? Is there a combat advantage to it? Is it just knocking your enemies off balance?
Yeah, you knock them around.
Okay.
Yeah.
I realized afterwards I should have been using that during I got stuck for like an hour in a fight. We'll talk about it.
I think it's
Wow.
like the same stagger effect that like a shield bash does, right?
Ah,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had some issues in this chunker. Part of it was that I went to the garage before I finished it. So, you know, I was a little inebriated.
What?
Yeah, a little intoxicated.
Oh, from the fumes of your paints and things that you keep in
Yeah,
the garage?
exactly. Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Yes.
And also the other things I keep in the garage, like my beers or something.
Oh yeah, that's where John shotguns his Miller Lights.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly. Yep. You get to Inverstead and they talk about you can ask them all about the Greybeards because you've been like hearing this call to go join them. What I like in their quest design here is even if you aren't doing the Whiterun quest line, everyone around the world will talk about how they heard that dragon name being called and telling you to go talk to the Greybeards. It seems like they have some stuff to talk to you about. And you
I
get to
think
this
that's
town.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, I liked ascending these stairs because, like, I'm playing my game in a heavily modded state, and
Your 60 miles an hour walk.
At this point in the game, I believe I was level 69. Nice, and the game, like, as you level up in the game, like the random encounters that you'll have with wildlife or whatever will get harder. The game thinks I'm like the best player in the world because I'm like constantly being attacked by like trolls and giant bears. Like every couple minutes there's a bear attack. It's so constant.
So these 7,000 steps there's some travelers along, I guess pilgrims you would call them, like a pilgrimage along
They're
them.
taking a pilgrimage.
Yeah, and there's little steps and there's little shrines basically every curve or so that tell you a bit more about the history of the Dovahkiin and the dragons and how the dragons were taught the dragon language, or humans were taught dragon language, and how it shaped humanity because the first emperor could speak to the dragons and had these shouts and stuff. And it was about how the dragons eventually got killed because the humans got too powerful. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, the dragons like kind of ruled humanity with an iron fist, and then humanity rose up against their dragon oppressors.
And there is
That's
a
how I understand
scripted fight at the end of the 7,000 steps where a ice troll will drop down from some rocks, although it kind of glitched for me. So he was like clinging on the rocks for way too long. So I could just keep shooting. I could keep shooting him with my arrows. It was great. And then, I was like, the first time I played this game, I got wiped by that ice troll a ton of times. So it's like, oh, I'm doing better. I'm, much more better equipped and all that. Turns out maybe not, because the problem's later.
I like doing these steps, and I like reading the little story. It feels like a real spiritual place.
And you get like a nice snow effect as you climb up. It looks very wintry.
The wind starts blowing. Whistling over the rocks, and you read the little things. I was also taking some supplies with me because I ran into a guy and he's like, I have supplies for the Greybeards, but I'm too old to go up the mountain.
Oh.
So, it really gave me a sense of purpose.
And it's fun, and you get there and they're like, who are you? And you're like, oh, I'm the Dovahkiin. He's like, oh, really? Well, why don't you prove it by shouting at me? And then you do.
Yeah, you're like, you crazy old man. Now, if I say I'm the Dovahkiin, I'm the Dovahkiin. And they're like, good shouting.
And is this guy is this Christopher Plummer or Max von Sydow?
It's Max von Sydow's the Blades guy, right? Or is that Christopher Plummer?
Let me look it up.
I think Max von Sydow is the Blades guy you meet in the next or two quests from now.
Oh, okay. He's Esbern.
Right?
You're right. Yes, he is Esbern.
Yes, that's Max von Sydow.
Yeah,
Got it.
That is Max. So who's Arn? Oh, Christopher Plummer is Arngrim.
My goodness, I had no idea about any of this.
Angier.
I was among the stars and I didn't even know.
Arngier, yeah.
Alexander Brandon plays, I should have got that name right, plays Amon Motier and Ancano. Do you know who is, oh, well, actually, we'll talk about when she appears. There's another famous actress or actor. Is actress a retired term?
Sort of. It's being
yeah.
phased out, I think.
Okay. I think I just got to teach myself to stop saying it.
It's hard, but it's valuable.
So yeah, it's Christopher Plummer who is playing this kindly old. So what are Greybeards? What Greybeard?
I tell you what, Greybeard. Graybeard is a man. I guess
No
it
lady?
could be no lady that I've seen, although it could be a lady if she could grow a beard. I believe that is a requirement.
Dwarf?
So dwarf lady, but there are no dwarves in Elder Scrolls. They are extinct.
Non-binary?
A non-binary. Could be a non-binary beard. So they are sort of monks who follow the way of the voice, as they call it, which is sort of focused on learning and preserving the dragon language.
And dramatic chair spinning.
And dramatic chair spinning. And being like, I'm using my steel! Yeah! So, when a human speaks something in the dragon tongue, it has some kind of effect on the world. And they explain that this is because the language is like pure intention or something. And for dragons, there's no difference between talking and using shouts. So like if they say thunder, then it's going to thunder in the sky. If they say push, then it's going to push things. It sounds kind of inconvenient. So these graybeards, they can learn to speak this language, but in doing so, their voices become so dangerous that they, like a black bolt, they can't talk to nobody.
Like a what?
Black Bolt.
What's that?
Black Bolt is the king of the Inhumans who lives on the moon. And his
What?
voice is so powerful.
That's
that
stupid.
he can...
Yeah.
It is stupid.
Jim Lee. Or was it Jim Lee? Or Jim... Who's the guy that wrote that?
I don't know who
Bro.
wrote Inhumans. Could have been Stanley. They're a Marvel comic. Oh, it was that guy. Who's that guy? He was super into like aliens and stuff.
Yeah, that's Jim something.
Yeah, I know who you mean. But I don't think it's Jim Lee. I
Jack
think
Kirby.
that's the one.
Yeah.
That's the one. Yeah, all his galactic stuff.
Yeah.
And cosmic stuff.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, they live on the moon. No, wait. They live on top of the mountain. It's the Greybeards we're talking about.
Yeah.
And they don't speak to anyone because their voice would tear them apart.
Mm-hmm.
So you chomp your way up there, and they're like, "Oh my god, we heard about how you sucked that dragon soul. You're the Dragonborn. That's so cool. What we spend years and years learning how to do, you can just kind of learn instantly. It's amazing. It's so cool."
Mm-hmm.
And they say that their job is sort of to train the Dragonborn, as they did with the very first Dragonborn, Tiber Septim, aka, are you ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
Talos.
Oh.
That's right, the very god that the Thalmor don't want you to worship. He was a Dragonborn.
Whoa.
Yeah, imagine that.
Cool.
That is very cool. However, Black Bolt's outfit is real dumb.
So he
They're just
just has a
lightning
really
bolts.
powerful voice?
They're just
Yeah, he
lightning
has a
bolts
really
that aim at
powerful
his
voice.
penis. Like it's just an arrow being like, "Look down here, ladies."
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I did.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Yeah, and he never does say anything because his voice is too powerful. Do you know what his real non-superhero name is?
Gerard Depardieu.
Nope.
Jeremy Piven.
Nope. It's Blackagar Boltagon.
Ah, of course.
So, my favorite part of this Greybeard initiation is where they're like, And maybe Jim could try this. We'll rearrange this so that in the Square Roots house here, Jim, stand in between me and Vanessa.
Okay.
All right, he's there. All right, now we're gonna shout at you, and it's gonna make you super powerful.
The whole like group it's like a blanket party, but they're just yelling at you.
All right, Vanessa, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
You just yell whatever you feel at Jim.
Okay, here I go.
1, 2, 3. Your hair looks
Gosh
very
darn
nice
it,
today.
Jim Banks! Why don't you get it together?
Gosh, Jim
Heather
Banks.
and,
Vanessa's being mean and John's being nice.
I know. And
I
then
really like your
disoriented.
beard. You've got a great taste in shoes.
learn to value yourself.
I'm so disoriented by all the positivity and kind of negativity.
You know what? I was going somewhere positive, and then John just stopped, and then it was just me. I wasn't comfortable with that.
I definitely feel more powerful.
Okay, so if you want to
good
charge up your
exercise.
friends, it's called a thoom, by the way. You just make them stand directly in between them, and then shout your thooms at them.
This is a really funny scene, though, as you're waiting them to just like
Yes.
pelt you with
Yeah.
the super voices.
It was so dumb. I mean, it's not dumb, and I'm sure you could be a very smart person to enjoy it. I just don't take it that seriously, so I giggled a lot during the
Yeah.
scene. It just seemed very silly to me.
They teach you some new words. They teach you pushing harder. So
And whirlwind sprint.
yeah, and run
Yay!
fast.
Yeah.
I do like that they sort of gate you with a gate until you can figure out how
They
to
get you with
whirlwind.
a gate.
Yeah, a gate that's just like it's just a standalone gate. I think you can technically go around it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't even have to go through it. It's really funny.
And
Like an obstacle that you'd want that you'd train a dog to go through.
Yeah, and they're like, "We're gonna pull this lever, and then you run through this gate as fast as you can."
Jim's supernatural speed, he could do this without shouting.
I had to actually turn it off for this because my character was set to move so fast that I kept running off the mountain. So like it's such a short distance where like if you go to do the sprint, I was flying like right off the mountain.
I tried to because you're right at the tippy top of the mountain. That's where they built their castle because they wanted to be away from everyone in case they accidentally said something and hurt someone. So this is what cancel culture brings you. And then
So we're in Kevin Spacey's castle.
I'm here at this busy party. I would turn the camera around, but you don't want to see how many people are here at this party. That's definitely really happening.
Yeah, no, it's not fair to
All
say.
these people have forgiven me. It's fine.
All these people just off camera.
Yeah. It's not fair to say that Kevin Spacey never gets to speak. He gets to speak once a year on Christmas Day when he releases his Let Me Be Frank video. It's his little Christmas treat.
Anyway, so I did try to jump because I was like,
known sex pest Kevin Spacey. Let me be frank.
Why does he have a southern accent?
because he's in his character. He's trying
He's
to be
in his
Frank
in
Underwood.
character.
Yeah. So
I'm a southern sexual predator.
I'm a southern sexual. Now, I'm just a simple southern sexual predator. And I don't know how you do things in New York City, but
I don't know how y'all Yankees deal with y'all sexual. I'm not even gonna go there.
yeah, let's cut this bit short. So I tried jumping off of the mountain while thooming because I was like, oh, maybe I could survive this, but I watched my body roll for a long time.
No.
After hitting the ground, it was pretty great.
were you trying to fly like Banshee in the X-Men by using your voice to like push yourself away from the ground?
Well, why
is
are
that a
you-
shout? That should be a shout if it's not.
It should be a shout.
Why
If
aren't
you could shout at the ground and you like jump over a mountain, that would be super cool.
I feel like you should have gone with like Medusa or Karnak the Shatterer or Gorgon or any of your other favorite Inhumans instead of Banshee.
Well, they can't do that, John.
Oh, you're
I
right.
have to go where the powers take me. Medusa can't do anything with her voice. She can only use her hair.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh.
Her hair is, she can control it like a limb. And
Ooh, like a Bayonetta.
like a bayonetta.
Oh, sure. Bayonetta's so cool. I
Yeah,
love
she's
Bayonetta.
the coolest.
She's got guns in her shoes.
Hmm Everything she has is made out of hair.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Her hair is like everything, isn't
Yeah,
it?
I think other
Like all
than
her clothes and
other
stuff?
than the gun, yeah, and it like can turn into a giant fist or an airplane or whatever.
Yes. It's
Yeah, Bayonetta's great. Anyway,
It
so we learn this, and then he's like, okay, well, just to make sure that you're really actually the Dovahkiin, although it seems pretty obvious at this point, you're
Yeah.
you're going to go get the most generic quest sounding item.
Yeah,
Ever?
it is. The horn of Jürgen Windcaller.
Caller.
This is annoying because, well, I guess we'll get to it when this quest resolves. But anybody could do this. There's no prerequisite to be a Dragonborn or use a shout to go get this thing.
There's
except
one
there
place.
is-
That's not
there
true. There's
is-
one place.
Is there
where-
one place where you
Yeah.
have to do like a sprint?
Yeah. It was the
Oh,
puzzle.
I don't remember. I guess my character was probably moving so
Yeah,
fast.
you're using the power of untrusting.
There was a puzzle, and I think it's an actual puzzle and not Vanessa make fun of me kind of puzzle.
You're right. It is an actual puzzle, and I'm sorry I made fun of you when you said there were puzzles in this game.
Well, let's talk about it. So we need to go retrieve. I don't even know who Jürgen Windcaller is. Was he a Dovahkiin or like was he a voice guy?
Yeah, he was the first voice guy, I think.
Oh,
wasn't he-
So he's,
although he
did
wasn't-
they talk about? Oh, he was the guy who decided to be like, I don't know this power I got need to sequester myself.
Yeah,
Right?
Jürgen Windcrawler.
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 So his deal was like he was the head of a group of Nords, and he fought against the Dwemer, who are the dwarves.
The dwarves.
And he lost, and then he was like super sad, and he's like, how can I lose? My voice is so cool. I love my super cool voice. So then he went to the mountaintop, and he thought really hard for 7 years about how he lost, and then he had a revelation that the voice was just to praise the gods, and you should only use the voice for that, and you shouldn't use the voice for other things. And then that's where the Greybeard order came from. So they just sit up there praising the gods all day long.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kine and Atenok and
Mara.
And Azura.
Pazuzu.
Diabella.
Maroonus Dagon.
Ford Escort.
The Cthulhu Void guy. What's his name?
Ridge
What's
Racer.
that guy's name?
Obius Rex.
Hold on. It's
That guy is a Deja, not a god.
Hermaeus Mora.
Yeah, I was
Hermaeus
close.
Mora.
I was close with Obius Rex. I know it's like two things.
I did a Hermaeus Mora quest in this. Well, I'll probably wait to talk about that one. Maybe it was a good one.
For all
Vanessa?
the times, yes.
Oh no, you finished your thing first, and then I'll do my thing.
For all the times that I've played Skyrim, I keep thinking, like, shouldn't I know the names of these 9 divines by now? But I don't.
Kinnereth, Mara.
I know Kinnereth, Mara, Diabella,
Mm-hmm. Talos.
Akatosh,
Yep.
Talos.
Mm-hmm. We got some of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're confusing. There are Daedric princes, and then there are gods, right? They're two different. Aren't there two different things?
Yeah, they're two different things.
But they're kind of
So-
the same, aren't the gods like nice Daedric princes, basically?
No, I don't know.
I'm not clear. I know you can go to like temples and read books and be like, tell me about the 9 divines, and they'll talk and talk and talk.
That's why I wanted Vanessa to do book reports.
Okay, so
it's been done.
According to this Reddit thread, it says gods are superior spirits that took part or are linked to the creation of Mundus. Daedra are superior spirits that aren't linked to Mundus.
Oh, okay. I knew that they were similar. That there wasn't that much difference between. So I wrote a song about the Greybeards. Do you want to hear it? I'll just read.
Please.
Yes, please.
Can I sing you 2 verses?
Yes.
Sure.
They took their love, they took it down. They climbed the mountain and they turned around. And they saw their reflection in a snow-covered hill, till their shouts brought me down. What do you think?
I loved it.
Thank you.
That was only one verse. Is there another verse?
Yeah. Oh, mirror in the sky. Oh, sorry, no. Oh, Talos in the sky. What is love? Can the child within my heart rise above? Can I sail through the changing ocean tides? Can I handle the seasons of my life? Huh? What do you think?
That's good.
Am I a good
Really
songwriter?
good.
That's a great song.
Yeah,
Thank you.
You're a fantastic songwriter. I really think that could go somewhere. You know, like I can imagine that being played on the radio. Although,
What's it called?
I'm going to
What's your song
call
called?
it Greybeards.
Greybeards. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
well, maybe.
I live in a city, 'cause I build my life around you.
Matt is
The
going to hate us.
greatness will break.
All right. Well, that was enough of that bit. Next quest. The Horde of Jurgen. The Horde of Jurgen main collar. You know, apparently, if you go to Sweden, this is super surprising. If you go to Sweden and start talking to them like the Swedish chef, they're just confused and angry. They're like, "We do not sound like this. Why are you making your voice sound like that?"
Are you trying to make fun of me? I like how your Swede sounds like an Austrian.
This
Yeah, I was gonna say they're talking to Arnold Schwarzenegger.
the impression you make sound of reminds me of that felt hand puppet that is not entertaining. Our children do not watch such trifles.
Say, you went a real German there, and then just drove right into Austrian.
So they don't like it.
Well, I heard that in Sweden it's just called the chef.
That's true.
Oh, yikes!
Shurgy, lurgy, 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 bork, bork, bork. See, the problem
Isn't it weird that the Swedish chef has human hands? That there's an actual person's
Yes.
hands manipulating things? It's so
Yes.
weird.
do you think that he'd be a gentle lover with those human hands?
I don't think so, because he tends to like just throw things
That's
around.
true. That's
Yeah.
true.
Real rough.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. He's like do you ever play that surgery game where it's like you're using QWOP controls to do surgery?
No, but I've seen it.
Surgeon Simulator.
Mhm.
It's pretty fun. Your body parts go flying everywhere. It's great.
Yeah, that's what it would be like with the Swedish chef.
So
But boy,
I'd
can
already
he eat.
since I was going over to Solitude because the Imperials told me to do that. I did already have a bunch of quest markers and stuff around here. So I was doing this whole like thing about this guy was trying to get me to make a ship crash because he's like, oh, we'll get some good loots and then we'll split it with you. You know what he did? Do you know
What?
what he did?
What?
What?
When I helped him crash the ship, he was like, sucker, and got his friend to like try to murder me.
Oh no.
I had to murder everyone on that boat, and then I had to go
That's
track him
awful.
down and murder him for some reason because
he
the quest.
seems like such a nice guy.
I know he was this nice lizard man. I was like, "Oh, sure, Mister Lizard Man. That sounds like a great idea."
A ship.
Grog crash ship, and especially since you're like, oh, won't that harm a lot of the sailors? And he's like, oh no, we'll rescue them as soon as the ship crashes. They'll consider us heroes, and we might even get a reward. Turns out he was lying because you find like the crushed bodies of a bunch of sailors.
Oh dear. Oh no.
Anyway, so that's right next to the dungeon, which I forget the name of, but there's a dungeon where you can find the Horde of Jurgen Windcaller.
Isn't it in Oostengrav?
Oh, in Oostengrad, that's where the Horde of Jurgen Windcaller is.
Oostengrav. But it's not there.
What?
Well,
It's
let's
not
get
there.
to it.
Okay.
There's a
'Cause
lot
there's
to
some-
do on the way.
Yeah, there's some cultists on the way too.
Well, the first thing I
Cultists.
saw outside were some bandits.
Oh, you know why? Because there's a quest I did. I'll talk about it in my adventure part. There's a quest I did that starts making all these necromancer cultists appear.
I saw some
that-
of them too.
Is that the DLC or is that the Shrine of the Daedric Prince thing?
No, that's DLC. These cultists who come.
Yeah,
from
it's the Dragonborn
Morrowind.
DLC, right?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because they start. This dungeon was full, like, and it was really cool. I thought it was scripted because you get there and they're just fighting the bandits. Like, I got there and first all the bandits were dead when I get outside, and then I go inside and I see all these cultists fighting, and I was like, oh, I don't remember this scripted sequence at all. This is really neat. But it turns out it's just like a procedural thing, but it worked really well.
Yeah, I ran into the cultists the moment I left the Greybeard Mountain as well. So I think they just pop up wherever the first place is that you go to.
Yeah.
Oh,
This is a really fun. Speaking of Hermaeus Mora, this is a really great DLC with a lot of cool connections to other stuff and a really cool kind of Daedric storyline.
Is this the one with the wolf of whatever? Because that's what started this quest line for me. And they're like summoning the spirit of death back. And there's this whole. I'll talk about it in my adventure.
Okay, I don't remember.
I don't know. Maybe it's a different thing. Anyway, so there is a puzzle here because you walk past some rocks and they light up with a little chime as you walk past them, and then the gate
Chim,
opens.
chum, chum.
Yeah, and as soon as you get to the gate, though, it closes, and I'm like, "Ooh, how do I do this?" But then, unfortunately, my chat was like, "Oh, just use your shout." I was like, "I would have figured this out. You didn't have to tell me because I do stream this." It's like, let me get it wrong first, and then you can tell me.
I knew what to do, and I still struggled to get through this gate. I'm not gonna lie. Timing, I guess, is not my strong point. What is my strong point? Nobody knows.
Well, it actually, I think I
Illusions,
tried it
obviously.
twice
Thank you, Jim.
and failed, but then it just stayed open, like out of pity. So I don't know.
And Jim, of course, just Andrastayed his way through.
I did. I am moving faster than my companions can possibly keep up with. I lost Lydia immediately. Haven't seen her since. She's probably still running to catch up with me.
The other lady gets mad at you if you ditch her Daphne, but we'll talk about that in a second.
I do have a great companion now that I'll talk about when I get to my adventure in.
So you make it past that, and then there's some more fighting inside. Was there? I'm trying to remember what monsters are deep inside the chamber.
The Draugr?
Yeah, there was some like special.
Joggy,
Oh, there's like a room where
skeletons.
they like jump out at you, right?
Yeah, well, as you're going through like the catacombs, they'll like pop out of their crypts and stuff like that. Isn't there like a Draugr mini boss at the end of this?
Yeah, I think there's 2 restless Draugrs or something.
Yeah. What's the strongest Draugr? Is it the Draugr Death Lord? Is that the strongest one?
Something like that. Yeah, there was definitely a tougher Draugr who had like lightning zappy magic and Mads Mikkelsen cheekbones, which really cut. They're so sharp they can cut you real bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get there, and then you get to like the little. It really looks like no one's been in here since Jurgen left this, but
Yeah.
you get there, and there's a little note. It's like,
A little sticky note.
LOL.
Lols.
Come meet me in Riverwood. Go ask for the attic room at the Wandering Daisy Inn. And
it says "see you later," but it's just the letter C, the letter U, and then L8R.
yeah, and then a winky face.
Yeah, it's just emoticons all over.
Yeah,
it's
and-
written on a page from a Lisa Frank notebook.
And what I thought was sort of a cute Easter egg is if you turn the note over, it does say "all your horn is belong to us" on the back.
Hilarious.
We're on fire tonight.
So you head back to Riverwood to deal with this, and you get to the inn, and the innkeeper lady's like, we don't have an attic room. There's no basement in the Alamo. And everyone in the inn turns and laughs at you, and you realize that the fortune teller who told you to go there was a fraud.
Oh no.
I was wondering if that joke, because I made a large Marge joke in the internet. I was like, I wonder if people from the UK understand this joke. Do you think Pee-wee's Big Adventure was a thing there?
I'm not sure. It is sort of American, isn't it?
It does feel.
Well, I'm not
very-
American either, but
You're
Very-
North American, my friend,
Very
and don't
North
you deny
American.
it's true. Because someone was talking about, I was watching a video and they're talking about by a large margin. I was thinking, that just makes you think of large Marge anytime someone
Large
says
margin.
by a large margin.
it. Oh wow!
Julian said, because I put a gif of that on my tweet, and Julian said that he was not going to be able to sleep tonight because of the large Marge gif.
Oh, poor Julian.
Large said-
Large margin sounds like a country song about trucking.
Well, large Marge was a trucker, remember?
I know.
Yeah.
Large margin sounds like slang for hauling a load.
Load of what?
Pardon?
Jim?
Pardon? I'm large margin tonight.
Oh, that large margin. Dallas to New Orleans, straight shot.
So we get you go to your hotel room, and she walks in and she's like, all right, I want to make sure you are the real deal, that you're this Dovahkiin everyone says is returning. Come downstairs, make sure you close the door. And she, even though she doesn't, she starts opening it even if you don't close the door. So I just kept opening.
I didn't close the door, and I kept waiting, and she did not do anything.
Oh, okay. 'Cause
She was like, close the door, and I'd stand there.
I
and
just like
she'd
kept
go-
opening
she'd
and
just go-
closing, and I was
She'd
messing
go,
with it.
close the door. Do you want everyone to see? And then I'd stand there, and she'd go, close the door. Do you want everyone to see? And so I eventually closed it.
But
Maybe you
but
do want everyone to see. Maybe you're kinky
maybe
like
so.
that.
later on, she will go through there all the time and leave it open with
Yeah.
the door open.
It's
so
always open from then on. Yeah.
there's none of that requirement. So you go downstairs, and lo and behold, she's got a secret headquarters under her inn. She's not just a simple innkeeper maiden. She is a blade.
I like how I don't know if it's intentional or not, but these blades, like, there's all these little factions and groups and teams in Skyrim. These seem to be like the dorks that like nobody takes seriously because they have such a crummy little group, and like everybody makes fun of them and calls them like losers.
No, it's sort of like the Don Quixote style thing, right?
Well,
I
she's
guess.
like, we're the best, coolest dragon slayers in the whole world. Yeah, there haven't been dragons for a long time, but the blades are really cool. We killed all the dragons. And then you're like, well, you clearly didn't. And she's like, shut
Yeah.
up.
And
like even in the dialogue when she's like, "We're the blades," you like one of the dialogue options is like, "What are the blades?"
Yeah.
Never heard
So
of it.
do you know who voices, without Googling it, do you know who voices Daphne, who is this blade lady?
Helen Hunt.
No, but you're not that far off.
Oh.
Emma Thompson.
No.
Who's the lady who is in Congo? Laura Linney.
No.
Laura Linney's the closest person I can think of to Helen Hunt.
Me too.
I'd say maybe she's a bit more austere and prestigious than Helen
Who's
Hunt.
the lady? Who's the lady from Jurassic Park?
Okay.
What's that person's name?
Let's see.
That- Is Laura Linney?
No.
Is it
Oh,
not?
Who is that?
No, it's the lady who was in Wild Hearts or whatever, that that crazy Nick Cage movie. Isn't she in that? And then
She was also in Where Are You Going? Where Have You Been? It's Laura Dern.
Yeah,
Oh,
and wasn't she
well.
in Wild at Heart? And what's the one where she was amazing? And it's the one with the guy from Dune, and it's a Lynch movie, and Blue Velvet. Yeah, she was
Yeah.
really good in Blue Velvet. Okay, so let me read off her. Let's see, movies that this Daphne has been in.
Okay.
Not Frasier. If you start thinking about Frasier, you're going to go a very wrong direction with
I would
this
never.
character. Okay. A movie called Room from 2015. She was in that.
Oh, I love that movie.
Mhm.
It's Brie Larson.
It is not Brie Larson. Okay. The Bourne Legacy.
Oh. I
Mhm.
see her.
One of my favorite films of all time, she was in. A film from, what was it, 1998 called Pleasantville, where she played Betty.
Oh.
Yeah.
She was also a caller in Frasier, but she was not Daphne
You
in
told
Frasier.
me not to think about Frasier, and then you brought it up.
She was in an episode of Frasier.
This is like saying, don't think about elephants.
Mhm.
This is terrible.
So it is everyone's favorite actress, Joan Allen.
Oh.
Oscar winner, I
Allen.
believe, right?
For what? Justify yourself.
Okay, let's see. Joan Allen Awards. I thought she won an Joan Allen Oscar.
She's got a Tony.
She has won Best Actress in 2001,
For
Is that for
what?
Pleasantville?
or was she just nominated?
I think she was nominated.
Best Supporting Actress twice, 96, 97, and Best Actress 2001.
For
Did you know that
what
Linda
film?
Carter does a voice in Skyrim?
Yeah, Linda Carter.
Linda
Yeah.
Carter does a voice in Fallout 4 as well, and she sings.
She plays Gormlaith Goldenhilt,
Of course.
and also voices the Daedric Prince Azura.
Okay. She was nominated for, let's see, Academy Award for Best Supporting Actress for The Crucible.
Mhm.
All right.
She was nominated for Nixon as Pat Nixon.
Oh.
And in 2000 she's nominated for, okay, so I guess she's never won. She's just been nominated for Best Actress for The Contender.
When was that?
That was a 2000 movie where she was like going to be a vice president or something. Is that it?
Oh, I sort of remember
I don't
that.
remember that one.
Yeah.
I remember seeing about it, and I didn't want to watch it.
But I
Who's
thought she
in
was
that
so
movie?
good in Pleasantville. Pleasantville, one of my favorite movies of all
She
time.
is good in Pleasantville, and it's
That's
a
one of
great
your
movie.
favorite movies?
Yeah, I love Pleasantville
Interesting.
because it's that combination of like absurd comedy and like touching, like heartwarming movie that I really
Yeah.
like. Yeah.
You know what I can't get over, and I know it's my thing, but every time I see Jeff Daniels in a movie, I'm like, that guy is not a real actor.
Are you just?
I don't know why.
You
Every
just
time I
imagine
see-
him diarrheaing on a toilet.
It's not even that. It's just like, it's just Jeff Daniels. And it doesn't ever seem like he's, I don't know. I can't get over, I cannot suspend my disbelief for that guy. I just can't.
You just think he's a big old goofball.
Yeah. Driving
There
around in
are
a
some
dog van.
actors that sometimes just don't work for you, and it's not
Yeah.
your fault, and it's not their fault.
It's like me and Kevin Spacey, but that kind of is his fault.
That's
Yeah.
totally his fault.
Yeah. But yeah, Jeff
It's me,
Daniels, one of those
noted
people.
sex pest Kevin Spacey. I just want to thank you for bringing me up twice in one episode. You know,
his SEO is going to be through the roof.
I'm not getting the traction that I used to, and every
I'm
little
here
bit
at
helps.
another
So thank you very
another
much.
busy Christmas party. Oh, no, no, I don't want to drink right now. Thank you, many friends who are here.
Hey, everybody quiet down back there. I'm trying to talk to my friends.
Yes, I did order these 3 dishes from Chinese food. Hold on, guys. The food is here. It's not just for me.
Pizza's here, everybody.
I didn't order 2 extra large pizzas for myself.
Hey, a delivery man, you didn't want to stay, did you? Because
Would you like to meet all my friends I have upstairs?
would you like to come on in?
Looks
and,
like you got some
share this
strong
pizza
legs
with
there.
me?
Can I take your picture?
Oh, no, next. Cut that out. Oh, God. Oh. There's a story I have about that, but it is not podcast material, so I will not put that in there. Let's move on. So Daphne is like, here's the horn. Don't worry about it. You can go do whatever you want, but I want to test to see if you're really a Dovahkiin. So like,
Why
there's
does
a
everyone get to test us all the time? I don't
guess
like it. Why can't we calm
anyone
down?
could say they're a Dovahkiin, right? Like, I talk like a dragon. Yeah. Want to hear it? Yeah.
But
Grr.
I can do the shouting.
Yeah. Turd Ferguson. I'm a Dovahkiin. Yeah.
It's a big shout. It's loud.
Yeah. Phosphor. Yeah. So she's like, I want you to prove it. No offense. I just don't want to take anyone's word for it that you're really a Dovahkiin. So I've been watching. There's a pattern of all these dragons coming out, and it does seem to be moving eastward. And there's a dragon burial mound. They're all becoming unearthed. There's one that isn't unearthed yet. Let's go there.
To Kynes Grove.
And so this was the long walk, because you can teleport there or take a carriage, or you can walk with her. And she's not the best walking companion, because if you don't keep up, she'll assume that you left. Like, because I went off to go like look at a vampire that some people were killing. I was like, what is happening over here? And then I just hear in the, like, far away, well, I guess he wandered off.
Wow.
That's great.
Jeez. She does get lost. I recommend this walk because it shows some of the flaws of the pathfinding. Like, she starts walking under a bridge. She starts like walking up a cliff and then turning around because she saw her reflection in those snow-covered hills, I guess.
Well, maybe the landslide will bring it down.
So you do follow her all the way to this little dragon place. And you get there and someone runs up and is like, don't come any closer. There's a dragon on the loose. And
Dragon.
and at this point, Daphne's like, maybe there is something happening here after all. I'm like, maybe there's a dragon up here. Everyone's running
Yeah.
away saying there's a dragon. I think you're right on the money. But you get there and there is a dragon, and it's the dragon from Helgen.
Yeah,
Is
it's
it?
a big
Oh,
black
yeah.
dragon.
And he does something really weird.
Yeah, he's like flying in a circle around this burial
Mm-hmm.
mound, and there's this shaft of light coming out of the mound, and he's just like looking at it, and then he's like, "Hey, you down there!" And he wakes up the dragon in the burial mound.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, one really funny thing that I noticed playing this game this time, so I think I mentioned it last episode, but I have like a cheat spell called Kill Beam that I essentially just kind of like point this beam of light at things and they die immediately.
Yeah.
And there's like seemingly unlimited range on it. So I can fire it at a dragon that's like a mile away and it will die. So like, if I just hear a dragon, I'll point my kill beam at it from however far away, kill it. But like when you kill dragons in the air, they'll fly around until they get right over their burial mound, and then they'll just crash into it.
Wow.
So like as long as you know where that burial mound is, you can kill a dragon from anywhere if you're on the ground and it's in the air, and it will just keep flying around until it gets right over its burial mound and then crash down and die.
Is that what happens? I thought they just landed
Yeah.
anywhere.
No, they like in my game anyway, they always get right back to their burial mound and then crash.
What does the icon for their burial mound look like?
There's usually not icons.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Huh.
But they're usually around like some kind of like old settlement, like a ruin or something.
Mm. All right. So the dragon. So then, what's the name of the bad dragon? Is that Arthur? No, that's Alduin.
Alduin.
Yeah.
Alduin, yeah.
The World Eater.
And Alduin's like, "Hey, buddy." And the other guy's like, "Oh, thanks for waking me up." And he's like, "Yeah, there's a guy who calls himself Dovahkiin, and he sucks because like he's just a little twerp, and it sucks that he says he can talk the dragon language. Why don't you attack him?" And then he like turns to me, he's like, "Hey, buddy, you suck. My friend's gonna fight you." And then his friend comes and fights you. And you murder that friend. The friend like is talking to you as it fights too, which is pretty fun. He's like, "Hey, bro, yeah. Well, you think you're gonna fight me? Is this a real fight? Huh? You think you're putting arrows in my face? You think that hurts? You think all these tons and tons of arrows in my face, my low health means anything?" He's not very good. So I killed that dragon right away because I did have Daphne and Lydia, all of us attacking.
Yeah. And then Daphne like loses her cool and she's like, "Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, you really are the Dragonborn. Oh my god, did I tell you about the blades? We are here to serve you. Like, we think you're the coolest and we just want to be with you all the time."
"Aren't you just the coolest?" It's like, and she starts twirling her hair. She's like, "I thought you were cool before, but it's like, I never realized how really cool you are. So
Yeah, like the way you kill dragons is just like the coolest. I just think it's really great.
Mm-hmm. And then you're like, "Oh yeah, this is the dragon that totally saved me from being executed." She's like, "What? Why would the dragon do that? You're so funny."
That's hilarious.
I want to tell you how funny you are. Do you work out?
And then she's like, like, dragons, I have this idea. Like, I don't know, just something I've been, like, kicking around in my head. But, like, what if the Thalmor did it?
Yeah.
What if it was the Thalmor?
I mean, it's weird because, like, they're our traditional enemy, but, like, they're doing bad stuff, like, all the time. So, like, could you go, like, on a spy mission for me?
Yeah, because, like, see, the Blades and the Thalmor, like, really hate each other. Like, I don't know. It's just weird. Like, we just don't like each other.
Don't even worry about it.
Can you guys explain this whole, like, all this political friction? I feel the game tried to explain it to me and I still didn't get it.
Yes,
like, why
I sure
can.
can.
I would love that. Thank you.
Do you remember when we played Oblivion?
Mm-hmm.
And we were in the Empire?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So the Empire had a little warsy with the Thalmor. The Thalmor are the governing body of the Somerset Isles, which is where my people, the High Elves, come from.
Mm-hmm.
So they fought this little war, and they sort of got the Empire to surrender. And the terms of, like, victory were like, okay, we're allies now, and you get to keep all your land and keep doing all the things that you love to do, except please don't worship that one guy anymore.
Talos.
Yeah, please don't worship Thalos anymore because he's like a human who died, and now you say he's a god, but he's not a god. He's a human who died, and humans can't be gods. Only gods are gods. Okay, cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, so then the Nords up in Skyrim, they were like, Well, here's the thing. Like, this guy who you told us not to worship, even though he was like an emperor in the Empire, turns out he was born here in Skyrim and is like totally a Nord, and we're super into him. So, like, if you don't let us worship whoever we want to worship, we're just gonna do like a rebel. We're like gonna do a rebel thing and have a little Stormcloak uprising, okay? And then the Thalmor are like, "Oh no, we don't like that." But then they're like, "Aside, we secretly do like that because we, the Thalmor, enjoy the instability in Skyrim that weakens the Empire." Because even though we made a peace with them, we still we think they kind of suck. And I don't know
Was
if
that
this
the
happens.
gold something concordant?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Oh.
I don't know if this happens to you guys, but I'm playing as a high elf, and I went and talked to a Thalmor guy, and I'm like, "What's up?" And he's like, "Oh yeah, we're gonna prove that like our kind is better than men, and men suck, and we're the superior."
Whoa, don't say that on Facebook.
Oh yeah, don't say it. We got a little notice on Facebook that someone said men were trash, and now we're under watch. When
It was
they're like,
considered hate speech.
you better take care of that. So men are not trash. They just live in little cans that are collected once a week by other men in a large truck and taken to a sort of pile of men where they all lie together and decay. So is that answer your question, Jim?
So at this point, I went to High Hrothgar to bring the horn back to my friend Christopher
How
Plummer.
did you get the horn?
Daphne gave it to me.
Okay. I just
Why?
want that on the record. I actually
Don't you
knew
have
that.
to go all the way back to Riverwood to get it out of the inn? Isn't it in? Or am I
Oh, she
thinking
gives it to you as soon as you get there. Yeah.
Yeah, she's like, "Hey,
Okay, yeah.
it was me who
Oh,
left
that's
the
right.
note."
She's like, here's that horn.
"Yeah, here
Yeah.
it is."
Yeah. So I went and brought it back to the Greybeards, and they're like, "Thank you. Now, why don't we teach you another one? This is going to be da. So try saying Fusro da at us. It's going to make it super powerful. I'll give you a little bit of my lifey wifey energy so that you can cast it. And it's good.
Fusro da.
But he says it like Fus Rhoda.
Fusro da.
Fus, Rhoda. Fus.
Have you noticed that Fusro da is the opening chant of the Skyrim theme song?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And they also keep saying Dovahkiin.
Da. Fusro da.
And that's why they're
Dovahkiin.
chanting.
Dovahkiin. Yeah, you're Dovahkiin. Dovahkiin. You're the Dovahkiin.
A song.
Hey now, you're a Dovahkiin.
Everyone, regardless of gender, can enjoy.
Equal opportunity music.
Facebook
about-
made me write that.
What about orientation, Johnny?
And orientation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, everyone
Now,
can
now
enjoy.
John can log back into Facebook.
Now I can log back into Facebook. So we now head to the embassy, which I actually found before, but I was locked. I was like, why can't I go in here? But before that, you go to Solitude, and you're going to meet up with. Oh, she's like, do you know the inn, the Winking Skeever? And Grunk is like, Grunk, partial owner of Winking Skeever? So yes, Grunk does know about the Winking Skeever.
You own part of the Winking Skeever?
I'll get to it.
Okay.
But yes, I own part of the Winking Skeever. And so I meet this little buddy here. What's his name? Moranth?
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 Morden?
No, those are, I think we're just naming characters from Mass Effect.
Yeah, or maybe Lord of the Rings too.
One sec, I'll pull up this. This is called Diplomatic Immunity. It's been revoked. I'm going to keep making that joke because it's such a good joke.
It's the first
Malborn.
time you've made the joke.
Malborn.
I did make a "it's been revoked" joke last episode.
You know, I
So-
can't remember back that far.
That's true. We meet this Malborn guy. He is he's an elf. Is he an elf like Vanessa?
You think he's a wood elf?
He's a wood elf.
Yeah,
Okay.
he's like me.
Okay.
Only his face doesn't look hideously distorted by the character creator like mine does.
There's 3 kinds of elves. There's wood elves. They live in the woods and they don't eat plants. They only eat meat. There is high elves. They live
High
in the
elves.
Somerset Isle and they hate worshipping. I can't remember his name for whatever reason. I just want to say Thanos. I know it's not right.
Talos.
Talos.
Thanos.
And there's the
You're
dark
not helping,
elves,
Jim.
and they live in Morrowind.
Wait, what kind of elves are those?
Dark elves.
Dark elves. Wow, yeah, I guess that makes sense.
And
Why?
I think they're
Well,
called.
dork. Because there's. Oh, I thought there were light elves and dark elves. There's high elves and
Yeah.
dark elves. Different.
No, I think they're called the Drow.
Yeah, and then mine are. Isn't there a name for mine too?
Bosmer.
Bosmer. That's it. What's a Breton?
Breton is sort of a human that's good at magic, and there's some indication that they have some elvish lineage as well.
Okay, I thought they were elf adjacent.
Yeah, they are kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So you go to Malborn. He's like, "Give me any equipment that you don't need, or that you do need, and I'll bring it into the embassy." This is where Johnny made some errors. I should have just given him pretty much everything because I gave him
made
like
some
my
errors as well.
bow and armor. I didn't give him any healing potions. I didn't give him any like food. I didn't plan this
Oh.
out. This just gets bad. I mean, so Daphne her name's Delphine. It's not Daphne. I've been calling her Daphne this whole episode.
Wow.
It's Delphine.
She, by the way, is a Breton.
Ah. So I've been meeting Delphine. So I meet Delphine at Catless Farm, and she's like, "All right, let's go. Let's go to this embassy. He's gonna smuggle you in. You're gonna be dressed up real fancy." And you're like, so I put on my fanciest clothes, and she's like, "You're not going to get in the party dressed like that." I was like, "Oh, I have to wear her party clothes and then take off my cool helmet." So I did that. And so Grunk looked very good dressed up. I thought he looked super nice in his party clothes. How did Presto Kazam look?
Presto Kazam looked great. Honestly, I think that sort of a party clothes, like almost a tuxedo-ish kind of thing, is really Presto Kazam's natural outfit. Jim, how did Rim Job look?
I opted for like I said, I'm using mods. One of the mods is something called the cheat room, which like there's an area that's right off of Riverwood that you can take a gateway there, and it takes you to like this separate area. Like every item in the game, every
Is it like
enemy
the
has got-
Matrix?
yeah. It's like everything in there. So in there, because I was originally going to play a very fancy character, so I grabbed a bunch of like Emperor's clothing, and that I wore Emperor's clothing and a crown. But it was like a summer wreath, like in Midsummer.
Wow, I bet you looked beautiful.
It was great. Looked really good.
I didn't give over really anything for this guy to smuggle in because I had heard a rumor years ago that if you are playing as a high elf, you can sort of just talk your way through this scenario. Was that
The
true?
whole thing?
We'll find out
Right now.
right now.
Oh, well, in a minute. So we have to find, what's this guy's name again? Malborn. So Malborn is the, like, bartender at this soiree, and you have to find a way. He says, we need a distraction so that I can sneak you into the back so you can get your equipment. Well, it turns out that there is a very drunk man who before we had gotten to the party, they said he had caused a scene. And man, he tells you straight up, he's like, I will do whatever you say if you give me some alcohol.
Yeah.
And so you can either get it from Malborn or you can get it from one of the like waiters, but you give him some of this brandy and he is your best friend. He's like, I'm going to cause the best scene ever for you.
Before this happened, did you chat with any of the other people at the party? Because I talked to pretty much everyone there. It
So
was
did
great.
I, because I wasn't sure what I was supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I talked to them. They're all super snooty, and they're like,
Yeah.
I know everyone who's everyone. And look, spoilers, I'm the Archmage of the College of Winterhold, and we'll get to that in the show eventually. But I was like, I'm pretty sure I am somebody. I'm like in charge of a whole college. So
I'm an
the
academic.
the jarl of that city that's near there. I can't remember the name of it. She's really nice. She's like the only nice one there. She's sort of an older lady. There's one lady who's like, I know you're not who you say you are, so why don't you never talk to me again, or else I'll let everyone know. And if you talk to the lady whose house this is, she's real snotty. She does not want to talk to you. Like, oh yes, well for some reason I've never heard of you before.
rude, rude, rude.
Mm-hmm. So this guy does create a distraction, and Ellen Wen's like, oh no, my party. And you head out to the back, and Malborn's like, well, I'm going to have to lock you in.
I like the interaction on the way to this closet because he's taking you to this closet and there's like some kind of like kitchen hand back there. I think it's a Khajiit. And she's like, we're not supposed to have, anybody back here. This is against the rules. What if I told? And he's like, what if I told everyone you do drugs, Janet?
Yeah, I don't think we're supposed to be enjoying moon sugar here, are we?
What if I told everyone about your cocaine problem?
Wow. So you get locked in, and then you're in the you're searching through the stuff. I went and grabbed every piece of food because I realized I was having some problems. I kept getting killed just right away. So I do talk. I see Razalan is there, and he's a Thalmor elf guy. So I snuck behind him and grabbed some stuff after taking. There's tons of. If you go upstairs, there's tons of health potions and things you can grab. So I sneaky snuck behind Razalan, grabbed stuff, and then as soon as I did, I heard a voice call out, and I'm pretty sure it was Jennifer Hale, voice
Whoa.
of Commander Shepard and Bastila, and she's like, I know you're there, spy, and I've got your accomplice. And Malborn's like, don't worry about it. I'm not worth it. Let her kill me. And
Yeah, I'm dead anyway.
mhm.
Before we
I
continue
saved
on,
him.
I
You can't. You
Oh yeah,
saved
let's
him.
talk about
Before we
Vanessa's
continue
experience.
on,
Oh, sorry.
sir.
I thought you guys were just giving up on Malborn.
Before we continue on, I did have a slightly different experience. So I went in, I found some Thalmor robes, and I'm like, haha, they're going to think I'm a Thalmor because I'm a high elf. It didn't work. Like, these first robes I put on, they were like, we can tell that you're not a Thalmor, you dummy. So I was super sad. Then I found this guy upstairs in the first building, and he had like some hooded robes on. So I put those on, and I'm like, cool. Now they're never gonna know who I am. I didn't have a problem with weapons and things because I'm primarily using a conjured sword as my weapon. So I used my very good illusion spells and magic to magica presto kazam, mind freak my way through this scenario. You can strip me of my equipment, but you can never strip me of my mind. So once I killed him and got his hooded robes on, then I was able to sort of swank my way around the courtyard, unbothered. And I walked up to the door of this building, and there was a guard there, and I was like, what's up? And he's like, why aren't you at your post? I said, "Oh, the lady inside, she's looking for you." And he's like, "Oh, well, why didn't you say so? You take over this post." And I was like, mind freaked. So then I was like, "Okie dokie, I'll take over." And then I just let myself right into this building, and I figured I'd just sashay my way in there and nobody would bother me. And no, they just looked at me and they're like, "We're going to kill you." And I was like, "Why? Come on. It's me, a Thalmor. I'm wearing my cool Thalmor armor. Look at me." And they didn't buy it.
Aw.
Yeah, it was too bad.
There's some other solutions. Do you want to hear about some other possible solutions to creating a distraction at the party?
Sure.
If you are a Thane of Hallmarch, that's where Igrod Ravencrone, the older lady, if you're the Thane there, she will. She's like, "Oh, an old woman can get away with anything," and she'll start harassing Razalan.
Mhm.
If you're a Thane of Falkreach, then Sidgeir will cause a distraction. You can also tell Erikur, who's sexually harassing a Bosmer servant named Brelis. You can tell him that you'll talk to her for him, and then she's like, "Well, can you just ask him to leave me alone?" And you go back to him, and anything you say to him will cause him to go into a violent rage, which causes a distraction. There's Ondilmar can help you. Mostly, it's people harassing. Razatlan is usually how it ends. It's pretty great.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well,
There's a few other ones too.
unfortunately, I think that all of us are kind of trying to plod through the main quest pretty quickly here, so we
Yeah.
have not had time to establish ourselves in a lot of different ways across Skyrim.
Right. The Thieves Guild can also help out in this quest.
Oh,
if you are a
interesting.
master of the Thieves Guild.
Well, I'm certainly not. I've never stolen a thing, not as Presto Kazam, and that's true.
That's fact.
So now you fight Jennifer Hale and her troops. Did you rescue? There's a guy chained to the wall you can rescue as well.
Yeah, I rescued him, and I rescued the wood elf that they were going to execute. I
Malborn?
did have to save Scum to do that because I wasn't paying attention the first time.
Yeah,
but-
he super died in mine. And then this other guy, I forget his name, Elisif, or I can't remember. He Etienne, this guy Etienne, who you can unchain from the wall. He's being tortured. You can basically. You can actually get through this area without fighting anyone. If you pickpocket any of the soldiers, they all have the key to the trapdoor that can get you out.
Oh.
So you can get through this. I just didn't have high enough combat skill. I didn't know who to pickpocket. Because I
Yeah.
tried Razatlan, and I could pickpocket him, but it didn't give me the key.
Oh, interesting.
He
Did you
doesn't
talk
have it.
about the evidence that we found on our way? I mean, that's the whole purpose of us doing this in the first
Right.
place.
There's some files on Daphne / Delphine. There's some files on a guy we haven't met yet named Escad.
Mm-hmm.
And there's files on the dragon attacks. And they're like, we don't know what's causing these. This seems pretty weird. It's probably the blades.
Yep. They're like, yeah, we don't have a dragon. We never had a dragon. They did it. I also found a file on Ulfric, the leader of the Stormcloaks.
Oh, yes.
Did you
Yes.
find that?
I did.
That I thought was very enlightening. Why? Because
Mhm.
the Thalmor call him an asset.
Oh.
And it sort of goes into like how, yeah, we had this contact with Ulfric. We helped him destabilize the area against the Empire. And then we had this other battle, and he's kind of gone radio silent since then. He got too cocky. He thinks he can do it without us. But we still consider him an asset, and if worse comes to worse, we can contact him again.
Well, how about I tell Battlestar Galactica's Michael Hogan all about this, because I think he'll find that very interesting,
Please do.
as he is General Tullius. And you can tell that,
Prestige Cass.
yeah,
Prestige. Up and down.
he's the one that I always note because he has such a distinctly Canadian accent. So, yeah, I had to kill everybody. Except
too.
I didn't kill Etienne, and I think he's the only survivor because unfortunately Malborn did get killed by Commander Shepard.
Rude,
Oh.
Shep. Come on.
Come on.
I saved Malborn, but at the end, when you leave him, because I think you part ways with him, like in the underground part, he's just like, I'm probably going to be dead soon anyway.
Well, with Etienne, if you go down, so you go through this trapdoor, and then there's a ice troll there, and Etienne like stumbles his way down and falls into the pit, and then he does get killed by, unless you save him, and I couldn't save him because at this point suddenly I think I'd gained some levels doing crafting and stuff, and so the game was putting more powerful enemies in it I could really handle, so he just destroyed Etienne. That troll
wow.
murdered him.
I ran down there to get the troll, and then I was fighting him, and I was worried about Etienne. But Etienne just ran for the exit. Like, he just scooted on
okay.
past the troll, and he's like, goodbye.
I don't know. Maybe he did leave because I didn't see what happened to it. I just heard the troll run after him and heard fighting sounds. So maybe he did get away.
I think
Who
you'll
knows?
find out eventually.
Yay! So I killed that troll. There's some really good treasure, including an unusual gem. And there's a few of these unusual gems, and they trigger a quest.
Do they?
Yeah, there's
I
a
didn't
quest
know
about
that.
these unusual gems. Well, I haven't finished it yet, but I did trigger that quest.
They're
And that-
quite unusual.
Is the end of diplomatic immunity.
Revoked.
The end of this is that our friend Delphine does tell us to go find Ermrand. She's like, do you know Max von Sydow? He's a very esteemed actor. He was in a Star Wars. Sydow? Is it pronounced Sydow?
It is Sydow.
He was in a Star Wars. Anyway, I want you to go meet him because he can tell you all about dragons. It's kind of his passion.
What Star Wars was he in?
He gets killed at the beginning. He was helping out Poe at the beginning of episode 7.
The best Teletubby.
Yeah, the best Teletubby.
She is.
Is he the one? No, Tinky Winky is because he has a purse. He's like, fuck gender
but Poe
norms.
is so cool. Poe is just like, screw all of you. I'm the littlest. I don't care. I'll do whatever the heck I want. I'm Poe.
Oh yeah, Poe also just shouts her name real annoyingly all the time, right?
She does. Yeah, like
Pow!
I'm Vanessa.
Oh yeah, I guess she was formative for you since you were
Yeah.
like 2 when that show came out in
Yeah, I was a little
1998.
baby.
Yeah, you're like
Vanessa, Teletubbies. Vanessa, Teletubby. Vanessa Nice wants Tubby Tuffy. custard. Tuffy custard. Tuffy Tuffy custard. custard.
well, I guess that's the end of our main line quest log. Why don't we talk about a little adventure that everyone went on, starting with everyone's favorite rim job.
So I did the whole like vampire DLC. I'll give you guys kind of an overview of it. So I think last time I talked about I did a quest for the Dawn Guard, ended up thinking I was getting an artifact, but then like a lady popped out, a vampire lady.
And it was an Elder Scroll, right? And her dad.
she has an Elder Scroll. We brought the Elder Scroll to her dad, which is some like old ancient vampire lord named Harkin. And he's like, hey, you can be a vampire lord because you brought my daughter back, so you do that. And then he's like, hey, help me fulfill this prophecy that will end the tyranny of the sun, so vampires can go out and do whatever they want.
Does that mean it'll be night all the time?
That's what you're led to believe. So he's like, there are 2 more Elder Scrolls that you need. One is the one that you get through like the regular quest, the Dragon Elder Scroll that we'll talk about in a future episode. And the other is a blood one, and then another one I can't remember. So there's 3 Elder Scrolls in total. So your first quest is to go, you need to find a priest who can read them. So you go find a moth priest is what they're called, these priests that study the Elder Scrolls. And I used my vampire seduction power on him, and then I bit him on the neck, and he became my thrall that did whatever I told him to. So I told him to read one of the Elder Scrolls, and then he went blind. He's like, "Forgive me, but I read it wrong, and now I can't see anything forever."
Oh no.
And so you have to do this other thing and find this secret area, and then you have to do this whole other thing through more secret areas. And at the end, you do get this. To fulfill the prophecy, you need this thing called Auriel's Bow, which will let you magically, I don't know, somehow end the tyranny of the sun. And you need the blood, essentially the blood of this companion that you have, the lady that popped out of the thing at the beginning, who's been with you on all these quests. They need her blood to do it as well.
Oh, whoa.
So what I was planning on doing, I was going to make an evil choice. I'm going to be like, I'm going to get back to Harkin, and I'm going to betray this person who's counting on me to save their life, and then I'm going to be like a cool Night Lord vampire guy. It didn't really give me a choice. You get back to the castle, and you have to defeat Harkin.
Oh.
So I killed Harkin, and now I have Auriel's Bow, and like she's a great companion. She can one-hit like almost any monster, which is cool. But I have this bow where if I use these special light arrows, I can shoot an arrow at the sun, and it will like magnify the power of the sun and stun people, especially undead, and you can do like triple the damage on undead.
Wow.
Or I can use this, I can just have my companion put blood on certain arrows and then shoot them at the sun, and everything like the sun turns into like this really rad looking black hole thing, and it turns into nighttime. And when you do that, it'll stay nighttime for the length of the entire day that you're on, and you can go through and like you'll see vampires attacking towns because it's actually really neat. And you get to keep your cool vampire lord shape-shifting ability, which turns you into a really huge badass vampire with cool wings. It's a really fun quest line. I've done all the DLCs for Skyrim. This is the first time I'd ever done the Dawnguard one, and it's my favorite for sure. It's way better than the Dragonborn one, which I think like goes on forever.
It's
I'll
a
have to try
good
it.
one.
Yeah.
I have never done it.
What's your adventure, John?
My adventure? Well, you know how Grunk was looking for love. In all the wrong places. It just wasn't working out. He'd like get in the faces of all these guys, and they'd be like, "Move away from me. What are you doing?" Or they'd walk out of the room. Well, Grunk walked into the Winking Skeever one day, and there's a guy named something like Solex Vinier, I think. And he's like, "Hey, I see you have that amulet. Do you want to get married?" And Grunk's like, "Yes, Grunk want to get married." And I had to go all the way to Riften. To the
Wait,
temple
tell
of...
me more about Solex. Like, what's he like?
He reminds me of Gaston from Beauty and the Beast in terms of looks.
Oh, cool. Maybe not your type. But
Yeah, not really my type. Too much.
traditionally attractive.
Yeah,
beef-
too much
beefcake.
hair. Too much hair.
Is he a Nord?
He is. I don't think he is a Nord. I think he's from Cyrodiil. I think he doesn't really tell you that much about him. All you can really, even though we're married, all he wants to talk about is that. Remember that execution where I found the body and tried to put the head. That's all. Literally, all of his dialogue options are about that.
Well, it was an execution to remember because you did kick the head around and play with it and roll it all over the place and then try to put it back on the body.
So we had a beautiful wedding. Lots of people were in attendance. It was wonderful. I did miss it the first day because you have to be there when they say you have to be at the crack of dawn, it's like, 10 will be fine. No, 10 is not fine. You got to be there at like 6 a.m. to attend your wedding. So it was delayed a night because I slept in.
Oh, dear. That's an inauspicious start to a marriage.
So really the only change... this guy, I thought your partner would go companioning with you, and I think that's only some of them, because I've had one before who definitely did. But this guy, he just sits at the inn making money, and like if I go there and ask for a sandwich, he gets mad at me. He's like, "Ugh, shouldn't I be asking you to make me dinner?" I'm like, what does that mean? Because I'm at work. And then he's like, "Fine, but don't ask me again for at least another day." And he makes me a nice dinner. And then he did give me like 400 gold because we were splitting profit last time. So I was like, well, that's not
cool.
so bad.
Yeah.
But there's no divorce in Skyrim.
Yeah.
Unless
There's what do you call it?
Johnny.
Spousicide.
Yeah.
Johnny.
I'm just saying, Vanessa,
Johnny.
I feel like there's a husband out there who's better suited for Grunk.
Grunk,
And he's in Valhalla.
Grunk made a commitment.
Yeah, it's just that's not really working out, Vanessa.
Johnny.
I don't know. We'll see what happens next time. When, we'll see. Maybe Grunk will explore the options. Let's just say that. Either there might be multiple solutions to this. And we'll see. We'll see what Grunk can do to get a divorce. Or something. I haven't. Maybe if I just keep wearing the amulet, other people will want to marry me. Because I was thinking that could be a good. That sounds more like what Grunk wants.
Yeah,
Can you
Grunk
take
wants a
multiple
polyamorous
wives?
Relationship.
I'll have
multiple
to
spouses.
Google that because I don't know the answer. And that's about it. Grunk did some other stuff. He went to a summoning. They're trying to summon that Daedric goddess of death, and she was real
Who's
unhappy.
Trying to.
These weird cultists near Solitude. It's a really cool event. I'd say it's one of the coolest, like just random vanilla Skyrim quests I've been on. It's called The Man Who Cried Wolf. I recommend you do it.
Oh, can I tell you about one quick quest?
Yeah, sure.
On mine, really. I just want this one element of it I thought was really neat. So the first quest that the Vampire Lord gives you is to go fill up this blood chalice in some blood spring underground. The only way to get there is through like some trapdoor in some abandoned shack. When you get there, the shack isn't abandoned. There's like a person, like a lookout, and she's like, "All right, go downstairs." And you go downstairs, and it's a skooma den for drug addicts that's run by vampires who kidnap the addicts to like have food, but still make and sell skooma out of this skooma den. It's really neat. So you go there and you sneak back and you murder all the vampires and get to this blood spring. But I thought it was just like a really neat setup for what these vampires are doing.
Mm-hmm. I did a couple other quests. I did start the companion quest line just because there is you can't get them to help you with your weapon skills until you've done the quest line, at least started joining the companions. But all I've done so far is like practice with one guy and help deliver a sword to someone else and all that. Nothing super exciting, but they've given me some other quests to do now, so I'll get to find out more about this jovial group of warriors called the Companions. And Vanessa,
Yes.
we've all been waiting to hear about Presto Kazam.
Presto Kazam, mind freak.
Sorry, Mind Freak.
Yes, please use Presto's full name, Presto Kazam, mind freak. So, as you'll recall, last time Presto went to the magic castle to learn to be a better magician and found a big floating orb in the ruins.
I think if Vanessa ever went to the Magic Castle in LA, she might explode like the chicken lady.
Gotta get laid!
It's just full of magicians.
Yes.
But they won't have they let you in? Have you ever got an invite? Because it's invite only.
I've never tried to get in.
I had one friend who wanted me to go with him sometime, but I've never been. It sounds amazing.
I'm sure it's fine. So they have hauled this big old sphere back to the college. I don't know why. They're just like looking at it. They're like, hey, look at this big orb. Maybe we can use this in our stage show. I guess it's kind of cool. Like it floats. It could make for a good, like, large scale David Copperfield kind of illusion, right? So,
which is great.
Yeah.
Everyone loves those.
Yeah. So I'm like hanging out with my pal Tolfdir looking at this orb, and then this guy comes and he's like, "Hey, someone's here to see you. It's a monk from the Sijic Order." And I'm like, "What's a Sijic Order? Like, I've never heard. Is that a troupe of magicians or something?" Apparently, they're like some magicians who think they're just so cool, and so they don't do anything but sit on their island, like doing magic for each other. Lame, right?
Cool.
What's a magician without an audience? But anyway, I go upstairs to the Archmage's quarters, and he's there, and there's also this Thalmor guy who's been hanging around named Enkano. He's super hot. I know this because another mage at the college told me so. She was like, "Yeah, he's terrible, but he's super hot. He's a high elf like me." And he's like, they're looking at the Sijic mage. They're super upset that the mage is there. The Thalmor guy's like, "Tell us why you're here." And the Archmage is like, "Hello, why are you here?" And then the Sijic mage, he cast an illusion to stop time. I assume that this trick is done by just getting everyone in the room to be a plant, you know? Because, like, the two other people in the room, they freeze in place. And it's like, oh, they can't move, they can't do anything. Whoa, cool. But if you really think about it, like, it has to be a plant, right?
Yeah.
You can't freeze
Has to
people
be.
in space. Anyway, I talked to this guy and he's like, "Hey, you got that orb. That kind of wasn't cool. Like, a whole bunch of things have been set in motion now, but we're not going to pass judgment on it because you didn't know what you were doing." And I'm like, "First of all, who are you to judge me? Like, are you Magicians Daily? Are you writing up a review of my show? I don't think so."
Hold on. There's not a Magician's Daily. A Magician's Quarterly.
Yeah,
Maybe.
you're right. I'm sorry.
Magician's Daily. I don't think
It's
so.
just a pipe dream.
I'm trying to. It's my startup. Trying to get it off
It's
the
my
ground.
startup. I'm trying to get off the ground. It's
I
a
need
daily
clicks.
newspaper called Magician's Daily, and I want to sell it like old style, like in a newspaper box for $0.25. So you talk to this guy, and he's like, "Hey, what I want you to do is I want you to talk to the Augur of Dunlane." And I'm like, "Who?" And they're like, "Figure it out." So then he unfreezes time. He's like, "Unfreeze." And everyone's like, "Oh, whoa, did something happen?" And then he's like, "I made a mistake. I didn't want to talk to her after all. Goodbye." And he leaves. So everyone's like super sus. They're like, "What was that about?" And I'm like, "I don't know. By the way, you ever heard of the Augur of Dunlane?" And they tell me that the Augur lives in the basement. Lame, right? I'm gonna have to go talk to some basement dweller, literally. So I go to the basement of the college. There's some like wraiths down there. There's some Draugr. There's this thing called like the summoning forge that summons Daedra and stuff. It's lame. There's this glove. It sucks. So, like, you go
Wow.
through this danky, dingy... Look, I'm not here to praise existing magic acts, Johnny. I'm here to become the greatest magician in all of Skyrim. Everything that people have done before, like, I'm grateful or whatever for them advancing the art, but it's old hat. It needs to be shaken up. It needs, like, the rock and roll... magic stylings of Presto Kazam Mind Freak. So I talk to this augur. It turns out it's a well. It's like a well for boys.
I love those.
Yeah. It's a sad well. Like
A
it's
well for my son to stare pensively into.
it's a well full of light. And it glows, and it's like, "I'm the Augur of Dunlane. Everything is terrible." And I'm like, wow, okay. And the Augur tells me, "Hey, you know, that Thalmor guy came to see me too, so I'm not totally ignored." I'm like, okay, so what am I gonna do about this eyeball? And he says, "You better go get the staff of Magnus." So I'm like, okie dokes. I go upstairs. I go talk to Savros. He's the Archmage. I'm like, yeah, we got to get the staff of Magnus. And he's like, well, I wonder who we can get to get this staff. And I'm just like, come on. But, that's life as a magician. That's what I did.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. You know what I was thinking as you told this story? If you ever wanted to like really impress a date, I figure you could get away with maybe about $4,000 to get away with this illusion. You go on a date to a restaurant. Everyone there you've hired as an actor for the night, including the wait staff and the kitchen and all that. And then you say, "Oh yeah, I can stop time." And then you'll like stop time for you stand up and be like, "Watch me stop time. I'm stopping time." And then everyone freezes and you unfreeze time and you're like, "See?" And then go on with your date. How do you think that would be for your date? Do you think that'd be a good idea? Do you think it would really charm them?
Yeah, well, the first thing that comes to mind is that Kilgrave dude from Jessica Jones. Famously,
everyone loves him.
Famously beloved character, Kilgrave, who did do exactly that kind of trickery. I think that the fact that you can hear like traffic outside and things like that.
But you can say, "I'm stopping time. Only look, my power is unlimited. It's only within this restaurant."
Okay. I believe that I would not be impressed. I would be upset that I had been tricked into being on a hidden camera show instead of go on a date. I assume then he would explain, this is not a hidden camera show. This is just me being super impressive for my date. And I would be
I don't think a magician would reveal his tricks. He'd just say it's magic.
Okay, well, then I would just leave because that's bullshit. And I would be like, this is really weird. I don't know how I'm going to explain this to anyone. Like,
is this why I'm single, Vanessa?
It could be, Johnny. See, the thing is, here's the thing.
Okay.
You don't want to do that on a first date. You can do that on, like, a 6-month to a year anniversary kind of thing. Although, honestly, I'd wait till, like, a year and a half as, like, a special treat.
But can I still tell them that I actually do have magic powers and then never tell them that I spent lots of money on it?
Well, I think that... I don't approve of you tricking your date into thinking that you
but
actually have
it's just tricking them into believing the world's more magical than it really is. I mean, is that a crime?
Well, it could be, depending. But I don't think that actually tricking someone into thinking that magic is real instead of a time-tested art of the stage is a good thing to do. So
it's kind of like selling someone an MLM dream.
A magic
a magic way to make money.
Yeah. Yeah. Being like, here's your magic LeMay magic.
I guess the only way I could see this actually being wrong is like, say I did that, and then like 7 months later, we're at a car, there's about to be a car accident, and they're like, freeze time, and then I have to be like, oh, actually, I can't. That was just like a little joke I played on you, as if the car accident happens in front of us or something.
I don't know why you think that gaslighting your date is an innocent activity to do.
Well, I'll think upon this and maybe talk to my therapist about my date plans.
Yeah. And the reason I wouldn't do it on a first date is that that's way too much money to spend that early in the relationship, and it would be a red flag.
Okay.
You could get into a situation, too, where you're, like, hanging out with your significant other. You're like, man, I wish this moment could just last forever. Hey, by the way, could you freeze time so we can literally make this moment last a long time? And you're like,
Here's a question. Would you be comfortable being in a romantic relationship with someone who actually believed that you did that for real?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So that's mostly what I did this week. I found this guy who was just kind of drinking away in a bar, And he's like, let's have a drinking contest. And I'm like, that sounds like a great idea. So I threw some back with him, and I did get so blackout drunk that I woke up in a town I'd never been to, clear on the
Ooh.
other side of the map. It was in the Temple of Diabella, and the priestess was like, wake up, you have to clean up this mess right now, or else so help me. Like, screw you. You wrecked the temple last night. So I'm like, oh, I don't remember. But I helped her clean up, and I found a note that said, okay, here's the stuff that we need to repair this staff, and we're going to get it in Rorikstead. So eventually, I better go to Rorikstead and try to figure out what exactly happened last night.
That sounds like a fun quest.
Yeah.
I was pretty delighted with it. I was
Yeah.
like, Skyrim's a good game, and this is well written, and I enjoy it.
Well, I think that wraps up the quest log portion of this week's episode. Next time, we're going to play through the end of Elder Knowledge, the beginning of, well, when the quest Alduin's Bane would start. But we're not going to play that one. We're only going to play through the end of Elder Knowledge.
Okay.
So, what are you guys squarely against this episode? You guys have any gears to grind?
Yeah, I do. I am squarely against. I think the dungeon design kind of stinks in this game. That is my one. Like, they could have, like, the fact that there's one kind of Zelda-ish puzzle and that's it. It's like, you could have, well, I mean, I know that there's like 100 dungeons, right? So they didn't really have time to make them all special and crafted, but it's like, you could have made little tricks to each one. But I know they put so much time into this, and they're overworked, and devs always have crunch. But I just feel like the dungeons feel a little copy and pasted. That's my one problem. What about you, Jim?
I'm going to piggyback on yours. I agree with you. And also, the thing that annoys me most in all of these dungeons is how the pull chains just blend into the wall. Sometimes they're so hard to find, these stupid pull chains. So that's my big beef. Vanessa, what are you squarely against?
I guess I'm squarely against the facial models of some of the characters. There's no real sweetness or floppy-hairedness in Skyrim, I would say. Everyone sort of has this, like, haggard face. I guess they've been living in the cold, and it's windy, and I just, like, I've been looking all over for some sweet floppy-haired boys, and I've yet to see any.
It's sad.
It is sad.
Squarely against. Do we have any emails this week?
Oh, yes.
I think we do.
We do.
Got a very good email. I'm not going to read all of it because it was long and involved. But this is from Hales. And Hales sent us some very, very nice Legend of Mana concept art. He says that this is from the book Art of Mana, and has some early designs for Niccolo and Boyd, who the book says looks like a British captain, which apparently is what they call Sherlock Holmes around there. He is a fan of Elazul, the person who we did not side with, the one who, like, hates demons and hates the fairies and things like that. It says that he's inspired by a Middle Eastern clothing, and in his early design carried around a giant parrot. But I think that the most shocking thing for me was that the male pelican originally appears to be a coffee pelican, and its little pelican beak sac is full of hot coffee. It has a tail that's like a plug for an electric kettle, and it steams little coffee steam out of the top of its head. So I thought that was pretty fantastic. He also clears up some things about the Jumi. You remember our confusion over Sandra and Alex, and whether or not the Alex was male or female? He says that in the manga, it's canon that Sandra and Alex go from female to male and back again.
Oh.
But in the original Japanese game, they think that Sandra/Alex is a cis male who dons a frock for the Sandra persona.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
He also says that the art book says that the King of the Gems, that's the whale boss guy, has a good heart. So I was correct in saying that he was sincere and loving
remember how
in his
Matt
intentions.
chewed me out for that?
Yeah,
That was unfair.
it was unfair. And he says that the Jumies aren't really humans; they grow from stones, and that
Like stone protectors.
yeah. And fans have apparently theorized that they're sexless and have no belly buttons.
Oh.
But overall, Hale says that he just really loves Legend of Mana and is very glad that we played it and really happy that we enjoyed it.
Yeah, what a great email.
Yeah, and I'll share this fan art on our Facebook page. Not fan art, official art, concept art. Art.
Yeah. Art. Okay, well, before we sign off, let's give a howdy hello to our patrons and remind everybody that on our Patreon, we have so much bonus content that you can get for just $3 a month. We've got some level up episodes. We've got, there's just a bunch of stuff on there. We've got some instant classics. We've got just some random ones that we've done. It's good stuff. What are we doing this month?
It's either if I can get at least 2 other people to play Metal Gear, I'll do Metal Gear. Otherwise, we'll do the top 40 ranking of all the games that we've done so far.
What's the best way to play a Metal Gear?
PlayStation Classic, probably. That's the easiest
I
way.
wonder if I can get it on my Vita.
Yep, you can get it on your Vita.
I will charge that tonight. Okay, well, this month, I imagine, we'll do one of those.
Yeah.
You're either going to know what our definitive ranking of the games we played so far for the podcast, or you're going to hear us talk about Metal Gear.
I know we've been we keep failing at doing versus episodes. It's just that they take a lot of time, and we have been really busy at our respective works. Jim's
We're
been
so busy.
all over the place. Vanessa's been doing crazy overtime, and so has Matt. Matt's been doing like 12-hour days all the time. Yeah.
So you'll get access to all that content for $3. For $5, you get all that great content plus the ability to vote on a game that we will play for the podcast. We actually have a vote coming up. Once each of the hosts has solidified their vote choice, we'll throw that up on the Patreon. So expect that sometime in September. So let's see. And a benefit that every patron gets, regardless of your subscription level, we like to take a few of our patrons' fun Patreon usernames and read them on the air. So Vanessa, will you kick us off this week?
Yes, I will, and I'll do it immediately because I do have that page open on my computer and I have scrolled to the appropriate place to be able to instantly dive into reading the patrons. And let's start with, you know who else is bad at games? My mom. Christian Go, Arthur A, Soy Soda Pop, Chris Ryan, Sergeant Spaghetti, Ward Childress, Weirm, Joshua Bennett, Jonathan Ellsworth.
You don't think
Florian
that was Wyram?
You don't think that's Wyram? Yeah.
Weirm. No, I'm pretty sure it's Weirm. Joshua Bennett, Jonathan Ellsworth, Florian Jonas Kramer, Zachary Train, a female listener who is not one of Vanessa's friends, John
Wow,
Scala.
that seemed very pointed.
Well, no, it's, last week you believed that all of our female listeners were just my personal friends. Where was I? John Scala, David Shook D's Nuts, Aaron Bachman. Vanessa's mom was the one who narked on Malborn.
I would like to thank Stan's Sham Slam, Shames Sean's Shit Shed, Adam Zimmerman, Isaac Wright, welcome to Cute Boy Jail Hong Kong,
Hong Kong.
Robert T, Jack Mazzell, Hexagon, let us never forget Diddle, the most iconic video game character.
Yes,
I
thank
agree.
you.
Yes.
Eric Pitkameni, Alex Dillard, Wedge Kuhn, Sean Walsh, Chris Penyak, Randy, and Adam H.
You really emphasized that exclamation mark, and I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
I'd like to thank Brie Girth. Kita Renee Prince Cifuentes wants to make the world smooth. What's the secret to a great Skyrim job? Kevin Walter, Sammy Mitchell, Joseph, Huxley Iguana, Ian Frederick, Dylan Rowe, Nathan Poirot, Quistidigweb, nope, Kristen Ingram, Go Cry Wolf, Joshua W. Broxson, Robert M. Pullum, Ron, and Ross Hartley.
All right, everyone, that's it for this episode of Square Roots. If you'd like to have an email read on the air, you can send us an email to squarerootspodcast@gmail.com. Come see us at our Facebook group, the Square Roots Podcast Group for smart, cool, very attractive people, or find us on Twitter @SquareRootsPod.
Spotify listeners, we think you're great, but we have not had the time to export all of our back catalog to Spotify. So if you want to hear some more episodes, please look around for them at squareroots.libsyn.com or
And
on
don't
your
forget
RSS feed. And
to
don't
rate-
forget...
Oh, you go.
Oh, I thought you were telling me not to forget something.
No? You want to go? You want to do it? I can do it.
I want you to do it.
Please rate,
Don't
review,
forget to rate,
and
review, and subscribe to us on iTunes or wherever your podcasts are sold.
Don't forget, we have to be part of the Ghana platform. We have to mention Ghana if we ever mention iTunes or Spotify or Stitcher.
Oh, yeah. Ghana. It's in India.
Yeah, it's cool. Thanks to Stephen Morris for our Square Roots theme. You can find Stephen on Twitter as Beige on Beige and on YouTube. Links in the show notes.
All right, that's it for this episode of Square Roots. I am Jim Banks.
I am Johnny Brandon.
Oh, Matthew Van Zandt. Hello. It's me. I've been here the whole time, Matthew Van Zandt.
Why does he sound so ill?
I'm sick.
And I'm Vanessa.
Bye. I was gonna do a Kevin Spacey bit again, but I decided not to. Did you say pile of men? How old are they?
Oh, no.
Nope.
Oh, we ruined one special I'm sure Matt's going to cut this out, but we ruined an episode of a podcast once with jokes like that. Remember? They never aired.
Yeah, I do.
Our shame.
Yes, our shame. It wasn't our podcast. It was a different person's podcast.
Oh my god, that was so long ago.
I
Wow,
know.
what a deep memory.
I don't think I was there, was I?
Oh, probably not. I think that was pre-Vanessa times.
Yeah, I was not there, but I remember hearing about this.
Anyway,